Shalom.
Shalom, man.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises to
Power
Yahweh,
by Shem, Yahweh Shai, Shem, Dash.
double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect, man.
Right.
The hastening the coming of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, and we're in that time, man. We're hastening the last days, this Edomite empire, man, and all kinds of all kinds of breaking news is coming forth. We've got massive major earthquakes in diverse places. The scripture says, you just had an earthquake 7.0 in Mexico. The Acapulco, what it was called, Acapulco, over there in Mexico, man. And the week before that, you had Hurricane Ida, had an earthquake in Haiti. The Lord's basically visiting the earth which He made. Them. I was the second time, chapter 21. Yeah, man, like, we're in some times of the end, man. The Lord said these things will come upon the earth as signs, great signs from the heavens that, this is the end of the empire, man. And this empire that we're in right now is no different from any other empire that's started from the beginning of time, man. They all had their height, they all had their pinnacle, and they all had their reached their demise. And America's no different, man. It's that these people are bemused and they're totally deceived, thinking that these Edomites are just going to be the eternal leaders of the universe forever, man, like the He-Man or something, masters of the universe. These devils are not the masters of the universe. That's Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai is the master of the universe, man. He's second in command. He got it right from the Heavenly Father, man. When He came on the earth 2,000 years ago, sacrificed Himself for the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, and He received, part of His blessing when He went back to the Father, man. And now He's sitting on the right-hand side, waiting to receive the rest of His blessing when He comes back, when He returns, man, which is ruling on this earth.
It's from Psalms 49, verse 11. Yep. That their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. But the question is this: what kingdom has ever lasted forever? Right. There hasn't been one yet. There is not one kingdom that has lasted forever. They've all been taken down because the Most High is one that set up nations, and He's the one that brings them down. Right. So all we've been prophesying this whole time is that now it's Esau's turn. It's America's turn to go down, and this is what we're witnessing right now in prophecy. It's being broken down. It's not being. They got the slogan to make build back better, make America great again, and all that kind of stuff. This is not an everlasting kingdom. It's not going to. There has to come a point where this place falls. And if people don't want to accept that, which we fully understand why, no one ever expects it or wants it to happen. Right? But if you're a believer in the scriptures, you know that the Lord is coming. For that to happen, then this place needs to be destroyed. Because the only everlasting kingdom that we're going to have is the Lord's kingdom, Yahweh Shai's kingdom. And that is what we desire.
It's even called the everlasting kingdom, place of everlasting joy. That's right. That's the Lord's kingdom, man. That's His promise to his chosen people, which are you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that make up the 12 tribes. We're starting with the elect, the first fruits. They're going to be part of the ministry and the government in that everlasting kingdom. We're going to be able to set that up.
Daniel 2:44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
What kings? The kings that are reigning upon the earth now. You've got the Edomite kings, even though they're hiding in secluded places, they don't want to come out like the Rothschilds and all these different banking families. They're actual kings on the earth, but they're acting like they're normal civilians. Like they're acting like they got NI numbers and all that.
Like they're not the puppet masters.
Yeah, like they're not the puppet masters behind the curtain, man. The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, that's these devils. But they're acting like they're normal civilians, man. In our kingdom, like we said last week,
they're richer than any of these kings.
They're richer than what?
Than any of these kings, to be honest.
They're telling kings what to do. You saw the picture.
Yeah, like I said the same thing.
I saw that picture of Prince Charles and Rothschild poking him in his chest. He was telling him what to do, man. Giving him orders. Who's really the ruler, man? And who's the servant? Yeah. But these guys hide, like, the council of the wicked. They hide in secluded places. They got all their shit by ill-gotten gains, man. And they know it's going to get taken away from them eventually.
Everyone was like, you missed your payment this month. I'll let you this money, you ain't paying me back yet, man. So give me that quick. Give me back quick.
Yeah. So you got the Edomite kings, you got the Moabite kings, you got all these different kings. But this is their end. After this, no other heathen nation is ever going to rule upon the planet again. Time and chance happeneth to all men. So they've had their chance, man, and they've fucked up. terribly, man.
All these nations have had their turn.
Turn,
And
yeah,
this
turn.
is the thing, like every nation, they could complain about it, but you've all had your turn in power.
Yeah.
Right? It's now Israel's turn. Beginning with our Lord, it's Israel's turn to be in power forever, because that was the blessing. You know what I mean? It's our turn.
Transitional power.
Yeah.
The God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not.
Shall never be destroyed, bro. So that's like,
But why? Why won't it never be destroyed? Right, it's to be a righteous kingdom, which this place is not. This is why it's going to be destroyed. You can't go acting on like this place don't deserve to be destroyed because it's not a righteous kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So you people that defend this world really defending wickedness.
yeah. That's it.
You know, which is what they are. They are defending wickedness. They want this world to continue as it is. They talk about it getting better and things like this, but ultimately it's built upon wickedness, witchcraft, and all these, blood sacrifice, all of that. You know, so we need a righteous kingdom to be established. But like I said, for that to take place, this place needs to be destroyed first. You know.
Proverbs 11:21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
That's right. Okay, so those that want this world to continue because you got some stakes in this world, you got investment in this world, you're gonna go down with it. Because the fashion of this world passeth away. Right? So anything that you're working towards in this place, and these are the reasons why you want this to continue, you're willing to make a blind eye to the things that go on in the world, just so you can feel like you're achieving something in this world. It's about yourself. You're selfish in this world. Right, so as long as those things are still in the cards for you, you're happy for things to go on as they are, But we don't. We want this place gone. It's been too long now, Things are going on too much,
I want some real quick. Ecclesiasticus 10 or Sirach 10 and 8. I'll start from 7. It says, "Pride is hateful before the Most High and man." So the Most High hates pride, and who's the proudest fucking decrepit beings ever been created on the face of this planet Earth? Are these Edomites, man? These so-called white people. There's no one prouder than the Edomites, man. That's why they're doing the things that they're doing, destroying the earth, and they've been doing all the wicked, vicious acts that they've been doing throughout the centuries. And they basically hold themselves not guilty for the crimes that they've committed. They think they've done everything righteously, man. They've done pure iniquity, abominable works after abominable works, man.
and that shouldn't even be up for debate or question.
Yeah.
Because out of all the Edomites, the Americans are the most proud because they're the rulers over the rest of the Edomites right now. As a nation.
Yeah, they're pissing other Edomite nations off, like the EU parties. They're getting pissed off at America because of Afghanistan, man.
Yep, that's right. It's okay to get this one. I said that. Says, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, he's speaking about the beast. Which is NATO and the EU.
Yeah.
Right. But there's the head of NATO and the EU, which is America. The whore that rides the beast. Says, and of the other which came up, and before whom three fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellow. Okay, he's speaking about the little horn that rose up. Right? That was America, which came out of England. Yep. After they, declared their independence, right? So once they did that and they got in a position of power in the world, they become pompous as hell. And now they're calling the shot. Now they're telling everybody else what they can do or can't do. Because they have the financial power, they have the military power, they've all every aspect of power they have over these other nations, man. And so they act more pompous than
and the technology.
Yeah, and you can tell how they talk, how they do things.
Yeah, that's why Biden keeps talking shit.
Yep.
No matter what fuckery they get caught doing, they just always come up with that pomp speech, man. Like we're just gonna, we're just gonna swipe over that and just carry on doing what we're doing. We're in America. No one can tell us shit. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
You
can't even say like Trump was worse or better. You can't even say anything because they're all the same. Because even Biden was like, "Oh, we're losing patience. You're gonna do this kind of thing." Like he's like, "What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?"
Force in the hand, and that's like Revelation 12 and 12. Now these devils are gonna start coming out with that great wrath because they know that they got a short time, so they got to speed this thing up, man. They speed up the agenda up.
They're getting into that anti-OSHA spirit, man.
Yeah.
They're preparing They're preparing terrors upon the people, man.
Yeah, that's why America's, represented by a dragon, man. The beast system, a beast is brute. It has no manners. Doesn't have no care. It just does what it needs to do, man, to get around. It's careless basically, and that's what a dragon. Dragon's very like, cunning and slick, crafty, and they do what the draconian law. That's what you're seeing right now. All these draconian legislations. You
by force.
Yeah, by force.
But what stops the dragon when it's pink, like, you know, either get burnt or eaten up,
Yeah,
man.
cut the head off.
You know what I mean? So it's not, they just go about their business, man, and do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because I have all animals, dragons seem very sovereign, like very, you know, top of the game kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, top serpent, basically.
They ain't got no predator they fear.
No.
You know what I'm saying? They're top of the chain kind of thing.
predator. Yeah, apex predators, they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and America looks at themselves as the apex predator of all these other nations. That's why brother read Daniel's the 7th chapter, how they look stout upon their other neighbors, man, because they're very proud, very pumped, like the brother was saying, man. So I'll go back to Sirach 10 and 7. It says, pride is hateful before the Most High and man. It says, and by both doth one commit iniquity. So that's what America's been doing, and it's seen a trail of events and the track record of this iniquity after iniquity, man, abominable work after abominable work, and them basically not holding themselves accountable for their wicked actions, man. They're acting like they did nothing wrong. You know, they did what they were supposed to do. And really, they are doing what they're supposed to do, because Esau was made to be, you know, that red horse to destroy the earth and destroy these other nations on the earth. You know, create wars and all that shit, create chaos. You know, and they're the seed of the wicked, the seed of Satan on the earth. You know, so they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But there's a time, you know, there's a time and space for everything, man. And you had your time to do your iniquity and your reign of terror on the earth, and now it's up.
Yeah, your short season.
Yeah, short season.
You're given a short season, right?
Yeah.
After you came out of the caucuses, you know?
Yeah. Oh, Job 20, pride of the, you know, trying the wicked is short. Yeah. The joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So you had your season, man. But you just don't want to give it up. So you want to go down, but you want to go down with a fight. But you're still gonna lose. Yahweh Shai is gonna destroy you, man, in your armies, man, when he returns. You know? But this is back in Sirach 10 and verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, as I said, check out the track record of America, even from the inception, unrighteous dealings. When they went over there, they conquered another nation that was living over them, man.
Yeah, and they got them living on reservations, man.
Yeah, butchered them, slaughtered them, killed off their cattle, killed off their women and children. But then they did acting like, you know, they didn't do nothing wrong.
Brought their numbers down very low, you know. But I said, America's history isn't up for question of debate.
Yeah,
it's wicked. It's wicked
inherently wicked, like, no.
And another quick one, just on that point. Habakkuk chapter 12, not chapter 12, chapter 2, verse 12. Says, woe to them that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. Bro, we're just going into that. As soon as you got over to Americans, what did you do? You slaughtered the whole people. Yep. Slaughtered their means to live and then stole their land from them.
Yeah, and then lied about it.
Yeah, how you meant to prosper from that? How's the Lord going to look upon that and say, yeah, as a righteous act? Bro, you're doomed for destruction, man. You've been from the onset.
And the fact that you touched the Lord's apple, the Lord's eye, which is people, is a great offense to the Lord. So you're definitely going to be destroyed, man. There's no two if ands or buts about it, man. You touch the apple of the Lord's eye, you're gonna be destroyed, man.
So you can't complain when, you know, evil comes upon the lands, man.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
You'll be like, why is this happening? Well, there's plenty of reasons.
Plenty of reasons, man. Yeah.
This
the
is
repercussions of your actions, man. That's why you're getting these earthquakes, all these hazardous type of storms and all that. The Lord's tormenting you devils. You're getting them chariot sightings, you know, more than ever. The Lord's tormenting you Edomites, man. Wherever you're scattered at. Yeah.
Pestilence, subways are flooding up, infrastructure is breaking down.
Yeah.
You know, getting your food shortages. You know, all these things are coming up in America to destroy it.
Plagues. Right? Basically like the set 10 plagues of Egypt. But this is the modern day version. The Lord said you're going to plague Egypt again.
Sodom and Egypt.
That's it. That's where you go.
Obadiah verse 3, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee.
Once again, the pride, man. And that's America, Edomites in general, your biggest problem is your fucking pride, man. Don't know how to humble yourself. You didn't put yourself in power. It's the Heavenly Father that put you in power, man. You don't even want to give that credit, man. You know, you only want to give the credit where credit is due. Because you're just the devil, man. But it's okay. The Lord's going to, you know, the Lord's going to relinquish that power from you anyway. He's going to kick you off that high horse that you're on and put you back in the fucking base level where you're supposed to be, man.
Paul said in his heart there is no God.
Yeah.
He thinks he's God.
The most high. Yeah, that's why he's trying to do this AI shit now.
Yeah. Second Thessalonians, that's it. That's for the most high shirt. Okay.
Well, I dare 14 here for this reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Whitewash all the images of the Lord. You're trying to profess yourself as the Most High's son. When the Lord doesn't look like no so-called white man. The Lord does not look like an Edomite, man.
Yep.
He does not have no blonde, stringy, blue-eyed and blonde, stringy hair, man. He doesn't look like that. Angels don't look like little babies with pampers on, man. You know, they don't wear nappies, man.
You know what's interesting as well, man? Because the world is kind of waking up to the fact that these things you believed about the Lord and the Most High and all this kind of stuff, like they were white, people are starting to realize that wasn't the truth. You know, beginning with the, all the apostles that, they've been teaching this, man, the so-called Lord, the dark-skinned man of the tribe of Judah, right? He can't be, according to the scriptures, this guy you put up there with white, he's got pale skin, leprous skin, and shaggy hair and blue eyes. That's an impossibility, man. Right? And it's funny because I was watching something last night, just on a random on Netflix, right? And Man Like Mo Bean, probably might have seen that, right? Right, but with the last episode I just watched, right? Obviously, them the Muslims, didn't it? But he was talking to this Edomite woman. Said, "Oh yeah, we believe in Jesus too, right? But not the white one, the black one." Yeah. But it's funny, like he said, they're putting this more and more out there because people are starting to realize that this guy can't be white. Don't make no sense. He don't exist. He don't really exist.
That was called Renaissance art, man. That's when you devils rebirthed yourself.
And he specifically said black. I mean, we don't do the black and white thing, but he was dark.
Dark skin.
He didn't say brown. He said black. He said, essentially dark skin. Because the scriptures say he's dark skin.
Yeah, it equates with what the scriptures are saying.
Because a lot of you say, yeah, but he was Arab, so he's got tan, got complexion. No, he was dark skin.
Well, they say he was olive. Olive's the only two different colors, black and green.
That's it.
He wasn't green. He was so dark skinned man. And the Israelites are a nation of dark skinned, men of color, basically from a dark shade of brown to a light shade of brown. But men of color, man. What's so hard to understand about that, man?
We have to throw in the caveat, they're of our brothers out there, that of lighter complexion, have leprous skin. But this isn't a thing about being black or white.
No.
This is just about whether or not they're Israelite or not, by descent, by bloodline.
Yeah, bloodline.
You Edomites are leprous for a whole other reason. You know what I mean? But that happens just to be your curse.
You're a cursed nation.
But there are of our brethren that are, leprous. That tell.
Even Egyptian President Gamal Nasser, in the Time magazine, he said that the Jews left here black. Like the Edomites that are in the land today, you're never going to be accepted because you left the land black. You came back white, and that quote goes back to Hitler.
Yeah. So basically, he was saying, look, because you're cursed.
Yeah, you're cursed people of the Lord. You ain't the chosen people of the Lord.
And as a curse, you're not going to prosper nowhere. And what's happening? You're not prospering in the land of Israel.
No.
You're meant to be if you're the people, but you're not prospering. You're catching all kinds of hell. Man are fully V'd up and they're still catching hell.
The two jabs that you took, that's the 2 Pfizer disguises, that's not even enough. Man. You take a third to be fully vaccinated.
The Lord was there, man. God should be protecting you.
Isn't it?
The leprosy. Leviticus 13:4. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and it be in the sight not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned not white, then the priest shall shut him up that have the plague 7 days, and the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on him again, and on the 7th day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, the plague spread not in the skin.
Yeah, his skin's gone back to his normal color. He got had a little scab, and the skin was showing. The raw flesh was showing, but then after a while, it healed up. Basically, that's what the process is. If the scab healed up, the wound or whatever, the leprosy dissipated, then you'll be accepted back into the congregation, man. Yeah. But that's what you would call unclean. When you get them, blotchy, blotchy, like what's it called? Blemishes.
They put it in what? Vitiligo.
Vitiligo. Yeah, that's unclean. But Esau, he's a clean leper from the head to toe, man. The Lord made them a nation of clean lepers, man. And that goes back to the curse of Cain.
Until you get burnt by the sun.
Yeah.
And then you're unclean.
Yeah.
That's why man will be putting in stuff like sun.
Fucking
Back to millions and that.
Yeah. It says verse 10. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and they have turned the hair white, and there be a quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean.
Yeah, it's unclean, man. You think you're basically cursed, and there's a lot of jakes that have got that, and especially women. There's a lot of Negro women that have got that same curse, man. That means because they're wicked, basically, man. You'll put that curse upon them, man.
And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all of the skin of him that have the plague from his head even to his foot wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that have the plague. It is turned white. He is clean.
Yeah, and you got that situation over there in South Africa with the albinos, man. They call them albinos. They got the blonde hair. I used to go to school with one of them, man. Twins, actually, man. They had the like little shine, like it's brown, but it's very light brown, almost blonde. But then you see those albino, they had albino skin, like, no. I used to go to school with guys that look like that, and obviously you look at them, you think there's something wrong, but you know, we just didn't know what was going on. But now we know.
Yeah, think about it. All you gotta do is, you know, put some brown hair on them and just eat about it. You know what I mean? You know, that's the only difference. They suffer from the same kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, he's getting it, man.
He's getting it.
Bitch had her legs amputated because she went and took the jab. That's you Evites out here, man. That's good for you, black women out there, man. If you want to trust your sugar daddy eat, you know, and you want to take that devil's juice, that beef venom. And look what happens to your ass. Now you can't even walk, man.
You like a black biscuit. More like a
Typical bigger woman, man.
Just want to add that to, you know, what we're saying about, right? This Isaiah 34 verse 5. It says, for my soul shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse the judgment.
Yeah, like the gun, man. That totally like chopped off, like
sword, yeah. Legs of sword.
It may be a Paralympian or something.
Why is that? All because she wanted to trust in the devil, man. We're telling you, the scriptures are telling you, never trust thine enemy, man. You took that jab juice, you woke up next morning with no legs. What kind of shit is that, man?
These sons actually just got it natural.
But that curse is that destruction. You know, the curse that's upon Idumea is that destruction. Because not only are the curse with leprosy as a sign, because it's funny that, you know, upon the whole earth, people are melanated. They've got skin color. There's one people on the earth that don't. And they try to play it off like that's some sort of evolution, thing. But you got to run higher from the sun. You got
everywhere.
You know what I mean? So how is that an evolution? How is that evolving? That's some bullshit. You know, everybody on earth got color and they deal with the heat and deal with the sun.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the things that he then goes and does is he then pushes out this this idea all over the world that to look like him is better. So I was thinking when we were watching that show yesterday, that Japanese film. Growing up, I used to think they all looked so-called white. Why? Because that's what Esau would push on the TV. Little did I know that, but they get dark, man. They've trimmed their ways. You know, to fit Esau's, you know, world. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, come up here, we saw a couple of beauty shops on the way, and we saw I was talking about the lips. Because they used to disrespect, you know, black people with their lips and stuff because they got fixed. But now they're trying to aspire to that. Get the big hips and the big fat ass and all that shit. They're trying to take on that image now.
BBL. They call it BBL.
So it just shows you that your influence is waning in the world. Really, it's all part of the downfall. You know,
and really, you know, to look like an Israelite woman, even though she's not in her right mind right now, but to have her her figure and the way she looks, you know, that's really what a woman's supposed to look like. That's why you devils are getting the plastic surgery and the big teeth and big lips, like the brother saying.
Spray tan.
Spray tan. You're getting darker. Before that was like, you know, to be dark. That's
nasty.
All of it was the Nike and Gymshark, all of their trousers designed to make them Edomites with flat booty, get like the get that.
You know, back in the day, it was in school. Bitches used to put fucking tissue in their fucking jeans to make their ass look big, man. I remember that. Used to put plastic bags in there, putting their shit to make it, give their ass a little curve, man. Remember, white girls at school used to do that shit, man. Why is that? Because they know to look the way they look is not it's fucking insufficient, man. It's inferior, man. You know, and then you got the nerve to try and paint the Lord like that. Come on, man. The Lord doesn't have leprosy. That's a curse, man.
Esau is all like the mind games, man, making you believe that, you know, being how we are is not right. You know, because you know, black women got all the curves and, you know, the assets and that. Right? They're still made to feel inferior to the so-called white women. You know, because of the modeling world and things like that. You know, the string beans in the modeling world, and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, posters and whatever. You know, but that's not really what we're after, man. We're after the Jake look.
We're gonna go back to that, man. Women are gonna be modest, but they're gonna be covered up. They're gonna be looking around like sluts and doing all these horrible behaviors and, you know, the Foot Nation and all that. All that shit's gonna be done away with on this side, man. Our women are gonna go back to their original modest power and mindset, man. Sober-minded.
We're gonna enjoy, you know, unwrapping presents.
Man.
Right. We don't want everyone to show from the get-go. You know what I mean? Everyone can see it.
We just drove here We saw a guy with his girl,
Yeah.
and she was basically wearing nothing, man. See through like linen and all that. Basically, arse showing,
Even nothing
titties
to
out.
imagination, man.
No, he's
Yeah.
basically walking on the highway, prostituting his wife, basically, man.
Yeah. Waiting for the next guy to take her off.
That's
him.
it.
That's what you're
Yeah,
doing. Advertising your woman, so the next one comes along and
Yeah.
take her off, man.
Still got the tag on her, bro. Taking off the market.
Uh,
That's the backwards ways of this society. That's why we need to get the fuck up out of here. Because everything is upside down in this place, man. If you haven't noticed already, man. You know, and everything's getting more and more destabilized anyway, man. No more morals is morals and truth is lacking, man, in this society, man. That's a thing that's it's getting scarce now. The more wicked you are, the more outgoing and more perverse you are, that's being more proliferated and pushed in your eyes, man. The ways to be, you know.
1 Timothy 2 and 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel.
Yeah, we ain't seen no modest apparel woman in a hot minute, man. You know, if the Lord was here now, he'd be pissed off.
And that's why the prophet had that vision. That why shall be harlots in the streets.
Amos 7.
That's exactly the state of our women, man.
Once again, because in only time you would see women in modest apparel in period pieces of watching films. Like what was watching yesterday had the full kimono, nothing show, whatever, what have it.
You actually got to take time to undress. You know what I mean? Take your age to undress.
I was having this discussion with the bitch at work. She got emotional because we were talking about Downtown Abbey. Because in that program, there was basically like women were like, to be a virgin was like highly sought after. Like go around sleeping around. Women had to wear long dresses. They was covered up. They had to be silent and all this shit. But basically, the man was running the house. We was having a discussion saying, that's how things are supposed to be. Like I love the old school ways. She said, what do you mean? Like, women start getting all emotional and all that. What do you mean? Like, we ain't supposed to have rights and all that. We're supposed to stay in the house and cook and clean. Yeah, well, what else are you supposed to do? That's what you're made to do.
There's order in that, man. There's a way it works why it works. You know what I'm saying? We've been in a discussion about children, all that kind of stuff. Like women don't want to have children now.
Yeah.
Because they want to live this lifestyle, right? And they either get too old to have children, or they get old while they've got children, and then like I said, they're having problems because they're old already.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But there's supposed to be an order that we all serve, right? And a woman's place is to have birth and raise up family from fairly young. And you have more than one child, you have a lot of children. You know what I'm saying? And they look after you when you get in your old age and all that kind of stuff. We're in that discussion, man. A man's job was to go to work.
Yeah, he's been toiled and bring on the lamb.
But because this society is about games and fun and mirth, guys are not serious and women are not serious, man.
Yeah.
They all gallivant and go into clubs every fucking time they get an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Rather than build a home, build a family.
Girlfriend nowadays is like a one-night stand type of thing. Girlfriend isn't really necessarily, which girlfriend, that term is really bullshit. It's really your wife. But even that's gone out the window. Like you see the marriage rate, which we're not down with the marriage, of this society anyway. People getting married, that's gone down the toilet hole. People ain't getting married no more. People are not even barely having kids anymore, man.
There's no integrity in those relationships.
Yeah,
when they get divorced, most of the time,
yeah. Women are most of the time the ones that initiate the divorce. Which is bare wickedness going on because they don't want to be in order. Instead of play their position,
they might get hard.
Yeah. So this place is totally backwards, man. So you don't even want to raise up a family in this society, man. Knowing the things that are going on. Because as soon as you birth a child, the kid is owned by the state. Your wife is owned by the state. Your house is owned by the state. You don't own shit, man. Yeah.
It says, in like manner also that women, 1 Timothy 2:9 and 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefaced sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. And it's like that was written back then. You always hear the apostles speak about how when the women start coming up in the school, they turn it into a mock because that's what women bring. It's nothing but confusion. And the worst thing you can get is one of them women that pretends that she's down with the truth, but then she's trying to teach you the Bible and trying to cut you.
Well, these little Christian church with Jake in there, bro. There we go. There's this example that when women in there, men get distracted. They'll try to play games with the pastor. They're doing one thing during the week, but when it comes to church, they put on their best, and it's a game. It's a whole farce, man. Women are not serious, man. The majority of the time, you know, I know there's some that they that you know that put the time in and that, but most of them are not serious about learning. They're not serious about doing what they're required to do. That's why anytime you bring up scriptures about the man being the head of the woman, and that kind of stuff, they start getting upset.
Yeah, mostly.
They don't want to sit in silence like they've been told to.
Yeah, because it's not part of the consensus, like,
Yeah.
you know.
So they're not
Esau's
thinking about it.
liberating, Esau's giving them liberation to be gather abroad and be wicked and whores, man.
Yep.
Slut. You know, they don't want to play the position. The scripture says that the desire should be to your husband, man. The book of Ephesians, the 5th chapter, says you're supposed to reverence the husband. The word reverence means to fear. These women don't fear their man no more. They're trying to run down their man. They're trying to give them orders, tell them what to do. You know, it's totally upside down, man. That's why we need that reinvigoration of, you know, this word, man. And ultimately, when the Lord comes, everything's going to be refreshed, man. That's why you got that Greek word kainos, which means new. Everything's going to be made new and refreshed. There's going to be a new horizon, man. New kingdom, new vibration on the earth, a righteous vibration, man.
Ecclesiastes 7:27. Behold, I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find the account which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all these have I not found.
Yeah, and who better to have the experience of that than King Solomon himself, man? He dealt with 1,000 women. So he knew good and damn well what women were about, man, the ins and outs, man. And he was a high value man. He was the guys, blue pill, red pill, whatever you want to call it, talk about high value man. King Solomon was the highest value man back then, man. He dealt with many different women, man. He had that experience.
Yeah, they were with his wife.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
concubines and wives, man. And he came up to the conclusion that these women ain't shit, man. These women ain't shit. It don't matter how fucking good they come up or how they behave. They're all gonna have their little, you know, errors, man.
And especially in this kingdom, they're all feminists, one way or another.
Yeah, they feel entitled to stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And I was gonna say this, man, you know, because there are few men among our people that the Lord has picked to be faithful and truthful, right? That's few out of Israel, men. There's even fewer women than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these women are only getting saved by merit in this last time, as childbearers, you know?
Yeah.
Those that bear children, they're being saved of merit, not because you're righteous, necessarily. I say, I know, you know, some of you trying to do your thing, good, keep it up. We can all do our best, innit? But there's fewer righteous women out there than there are righteous men. And that, as Solomon was, you know, he's confirming that in the spirit, man. He confirmed that. Because even the scripture tells you the woman is the weaker vessel.
Yeah.
So what can we really expect from them? We can't expect too much from them. There's no point in that. They're not built that way. I'm pretty sure someone broke down that the word woman means faithful. So that's something to do with faithless.
Feminine for me,
Faithless.
which means faithless. Yeah,
Okay, there we go. So they don't really have that integrity, that faith to believe what you believe in. What we believe.
Yeah.
You haven't got the like Joel's woman.
Yeah, Joel's wife. Yeah.
You know. So
Lot's
this
wife.
is Lot's wife. So that's what we got to go by. We got to go by.
He was the first one. Because of her, we all die now.
Yeah. So this is what we got to go by. It's not because we hate women. It's just the truth. The fact of the matter is, this is the state of women. You
Yeah,
know?
even Apostle, like the Apostle was there, a few good sisters. There's only going to be a few good ones that are going to be, you know, delivered, man. And they're, you know, this is a small sanctuary anyway, so it's not going to be like, you know, there's going to be a whole world of sisters going to be delivered. No, man, there's going to be a small sanctuary of sisters for a small elect amount of men. And then through that, we're going to, you know, replenish the earth again, all over again, man.
Yep. But if you want the mindset or the spirit that you want to tell your man what to do, that's going off. You want to rule over your man, that's going off, man, because that's a device of Satan right there that you're using against your man. You know, and that's why it's quickly read this from Jeremiah 31 and verse 22. It says, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
Yeah.
For the Lord created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Because that's not the order thing. That's a new thing. And who brought that into play? Esau.
Yeah.
Where the women's lived. You know, he brought that to you, that doctrine, you know, that fruit, that same thing that Eve was eating of, you know, all these doctrines, these philosophies. He brought that to you, and now you're running with it. He's put you in front of the men. So you get your power over the man now, and you're loving it because you feel like you're being unshackled. Because you're being told that a woman should aspire to be more than a wife.
You know, as things are getting more and more, like, you know, more destitute, man. Like, women don't want to play their position no more. They don't want to cook, clean. They want to do what it was made to do. So everything's just destabilized, man.
Which don't apply to the elite.
Yeah.
But they got their women in order.
Yeah, they got their shit.
You know what I'm saying? They still rule over us, have rule over you. They're the ones giving you the funds to do so. You know what I'm saying? But on a macro level, with the common family household, man, it's destroyed, it's divided. You know, and that keeps the people in confusion. You know, this is why, you know, all this madness that goes on now, broken homes, people believing themselves to be something they're not. You know, all these kinds of things here. You know,
Yeah, that was that Willie Lynch effect, man. You know, to stabilize, to break up the families, you know, turn the husband against the wife. And really goes back to the curse of Deuteronomy 28. The Lord said that was going to be that was going to happen. Your wife's eyes should be even towards her husband, man. Towards the, you know, the seed of her belly and all that, man. That was going to happen. Part of the curse. But, you know, we're slowly coming out of them curses, man. This is why, you know, the elect is waking up. Because in the kingdom to come, we're not, as we've received all these curses on this side, in the kingdom of heaven, we're just going to receive nothing but blessings, man. We're going to get the total opposite of what we received on this side, man. And everything's going to be in order. Just like the brother said with these devils, they have all their houses in order, so to speak. You know, we're going to have that in the kingdom, man. You know, and they're the ones that's going to be suffering. They're the ones that's going to be on the bottom. They're going to be the minorities in the kingdom of heaven. Esau, the Moabites, the Chinese, the Ammonites, the Japanese, the Ishmaelites, Arabs, Elam, all these other nations, they're the ones that's going to feel what it feels like to be oppressed, man, in the kingdom of heaven. Because we've done nothing but, we've suffered nothing but oppression, man, you know, for the past 400, 500 years.
Yeah, you know, that's something else you act like you're not doing.
Yeah.
You know, oh, we're not oppressing the natives. No,
No.
they like living where they live. You know what I mean? Like, you put them there.
Putting them in a casino.
And they're in hell. Oh, yeah, we pieced them off in the casino, man. What? Like, the whole land's there. Everything that's on it really belongs to them. And you're talking about a casino, bro. No, I mean, these men are catching hell, man. Their people are destroyed, literally. They're hanging on to their identity because no one wants to be a Native American, man. It's hell, you know. And so, you know, Edomites, Neo-Americans, because you know you call them the Native American, you call yourself Americans, right? You Edomites, man. You're not even that. You're just foreigners, man. Yeah. You know, you're just raiders.
Raiders of the lost ark.
Isaiah 33:1, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee.
Yeah, even going back to the Babylonians, man. You guys, Edomites, conspired to take us down, man. You're feeding us to the Babylonians for us to get fucked up and enslaved, man. Well, you were supposed to be our brother back then. Literally, man. Like kinfolk, man. Yeah. You was giving us up to the damn fucking Babylonians to get butchered and enslaved and castrated. They show you in that, what's that movie? Princess of Persia, man, with Esther basically going into that high holy day, you know. But they was going into that in the movie. They had Jakes that was working for the for Xerxes, whatever, Ashurus, that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, and basically they castrated him so they could work in his temple because they didn't want him to speak with the women or his women that he had in his household. So they'll castrate the slaves, cut off their rods, you know, and make them work in these habitations, man. So that's what they was doing to us, man. You know, they was feeding us to the heathen to get slaughtered, man. But these devils think for all that they're not going to pay for none of those things, man. They're going to get a clean slate. Come on, man.
Yeah, it speaks about breaking the heavenly the brotherly covenant. Yeah, you know, you're meant to have compassion on your brother, right? You know, I know you didn't get the blessing and all that, man, but here's the thing: just because you feel like evil's been done to you, don't mean you get to do evil. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You don't get to do evil, especially on your brother, especially. You know, knowing that the Lord has chosen his people, you know what I'm saying? And this is why you get in such a great judgment.
So I was just gonna say, I remember Elbow Cast said at one time he could have just been the brother.
Yeah, he could have been all right, man.
Mordecai and all that. Look at that. Haman, man. You know, he was put in a position, little position, but he still conspired to try and take the Israelites down and get the smoke, man.
Hey,
by the king.
And what does Scripture say, man? His desires is hell. Yeah, they cannot be sat. He wasn't happy with just the position because I think I can't remember where. I remember some brother went over it, but he was looking to overrun the king.
Yeah. He was
looking to take control of the nation, you know, for the Idumeans, you know.
Yeah. That's
you know.
Start then. That's in Isaiah 14:21. Or was it Sirach 12, where it says, "Set them not by thee, least take you to that place."
Yeah. He wasn't happy with just being, you know, the king's hand or, you know, whatever the position was. He wanted to be king, or he wanted to take control of the nation. Because he would have done what he was planning to do, was to get rid of the Jews. He would have done that. He was already trying to do that, convince the king that, you know, because he knew the king would have a feeling about it, and he played on that. You know, even though they weren't causing him any trouble, they just weren't worshipping their God. You know,
So I say he was conspiring with the Greeks to take them down and
Yeah.
all this. Come on, man, that wasn't happening, man. We was trying to do our own thing, man. Trying to survive the onslaught, man. You got these Edomites, and all throughout history, these Edomites have always had something against us. Why? Because we're enemies from the womb to the tomb. It goes back to the inception of Jacob and Esau, man. Natural born enemy.
But you got to think about this as well, right? It was a blessing that the Most High put Esther in, you know, with
Set up like
with
to marry the king.
because that situation would have still happened.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Haman, because he would have continued climbing,
Yeah.
and he has a problem with the Jews.
Yeah.
So he still would have had that happen.
Yeah.
So if Esther wasn't there, then that would have taken place.
That just shows you the Most High controls everything.
Most High intervened.
And because you know, technically, like an Israelite woman marrying a heathen is not accepted,
right.
man. But the Lord did that for a purpose, man.
It's the same.
Out of that, we get a high holy day as well, like to celebrate.
Because even Esther wasn't happy about it.
Because they got rid of the original wife and then the
which once again shows you go bringing it right back to how far like man has fallen, right? Because what was it? The king get the king's name. But basically, when he had all his peoples around, his people like, bro, you can't let this go on. Ahasuerus, yes, it's like Ahasuerus. They were like, all the what do you call it, people there were like, yo, you can't let this be seen abroad. Because if they can do it to you, they gonna do it to us.
Lesser men.
Exactly. And then fast forward however many years, right? You now have there's that a picture with Obama in the Oval Office, and then you have Michelle basically saying basically, give me that phone, boy. She had that kind of vibe about.
but then with Trump, you even had it where his wife slapped his hand away.
When they got the thing one time, she want to hold his hand. She's like, push his hand away. Trying to hold his hand away.
It's embarrassing. You know, being showed up in front of public. You know, that don't go down well, man. Because now these women feel empowered to do the same. And that's what his Lord was saying. His Lord was saying, man, if you allow this, that woman are going to act the same way.
First, it's going to spread.
And it's going to cause division and problems in the city, which is what we have today. You know?
So 11 is the whole lot, man. I've got something on Haman. This is Psalm 7:15. It says, he hath made a pit and digged it and is fallen into the ditch which he made. I said I brought it out because of Haman, but Esau was doing the same thing. He's doing the exact same thing because it's sort of like here's the thing, right, which once again shows you that everyone is controlled. Scripture says, Psalm 49:11, that this man wants to live forever, right? He wants to continue ruling forever, right? But then he's pushing the chip. He's pushing the MOTV, right? If you don't,
he's going to be destroyed by his own wicked devices.
Exactly. And because this thing you want to rule forever, don't push the MOTV because we can't get out of this kingdom until it's pushed. But you have no choice. You have to push it.
That's a beautiful point, man. I mentioned about Haman. He wasn't happy to be the king's hand, right? He wants to be king, he wants to rule the nation. But guess what? He's on even a higher position than that right now. And he doesn't happy to be rule of the earth right now. He wants to be God. You know what I mean? Like, he's so stop. But he would be right if he just stopped. Yeah. He's got everything a man could wish. It tells you that. He's got more than a man's heart could wish. Yep. But that's not enough for him. Like, he's already got his own subjection. He has to chip them as well. Like, he has to surveil them 24/7. He's so proud in his own being that he wants to elevate himself to God's status, bro. And live forever. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's ironic, because that's exactly what's going to happen. He gets destroyed himself. Most likely going to use those things against him.
Yeah, it's a gift destroys the heart, man. Esau was blessed with the gift by the sword, but it's going to destroy him. He's going to be destroyed by his own blessing, man, because he can't have enough, man. He's larger than desires hell. He can never want enough, man. Like, he just keeps taking and taking and taking till there's nothing left. Yeah. And even then, he still won't take.
He don't even need to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a man, you don't even need to, man. You want chill. Don't know how to chill, man.
All the world's resources, but he's still, causing mayhem in different parts of the earth. Fine, man.
They can feel
you have everything. Yeah. That's crazy.
And this is why the Lord's kingdom is gonna be a righteous kingdom, man, because we ain't gonna be having to do all that. You're gonna have your lands. You're gonna farm your lands, and we're gonna get a percentage of your product production and that. But you're gonna be able to live your life, within the constraints of the law. We're not gonna be undercutting you and undermining you and doing all this stuff to divide and conquer. We ain't gonna do all that, man. No, it ain't gonna be
We're all
no,
gonna get a fair share.
you know,
Provide everything.
and you're gonna respect the order.
Yeah. It's not gonna be like no Israelite and there's gonna be a regular Israelite. Even the regular Israelite is gonna be a king. They're gonna have a crown on his head. We're all gonna be wealthy. We're all gonna have that generational wealth. There's not gonna be any need for no snakes and ladders shucking it, like, trying to get over on another brother. We ain't gonna have to do that. That's what Esau does, that cutthroat business. He does cutthroat shit. Get over on his own people. Talk about merging the company, but he's conspiring with a contract behind closed doors. You didn't read the small print. Now he's got the percentage in your company. You're fucked. Like, he's doing some cutthroat. That's Esau, man. And Jake, has adopted that throughout the time that we've been here. They adopted cutthroat type mentality. That's why they're doing the shit that they're doing. All the wickedness that they're doing in the streets, whatever.
They used to help you set up a business. They set up an agency to come against it, man, and find you and all that kind of stuff, man.
The lawyers involved, like, tied basically.
Losing money, everywhere.
That's Esau's spirit, man. But we don't need that spirit. We ain't gonna have that spirit in the kingdom, man. We're gonna get our fair share. We're all gonna be living good.
Numbers 24 from the top.
Starting out, jump down to that.
This is so this is Numbers 24 from about 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up this parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perished forever.
Yeah, that goes like now. Esau is in his heaven. In Revelation 21st chapter, it says that the first heaven was passed away, man. That a new heaven was created. The first earth, first heaven, which is Esau's realm right now, which is living. He's the first of the nations, he's on top. But his latter end is that he's gonna lose it all, man. There's nothing he can do to stop it. You had your time, you had your chance, man. Fucked up, destroy the mindset of the people, man. Now you're trying to chip everyone like fucking cattle, Esau's had enough. Right now he's gonna pull the plug on him, man.
Wickedness is downfall of everything.
Yeah.
The Lord side don't delight. Doesn't matter who's doing it. So the Lord is not going to have you there for a time, man. Then he's going to remove you, man. And the only reason why you're in a position is because he was punishing us for our wickedness.
Same stuff of Canaanites. And and they had, it was like until their wickedness had to be fulfilled, and then and then was the just one.
And you continued on that same formula, man. So therefore, the outcome is So therefore, the outcome is the same destruction. Can't expect a different outcome.
And it's not necessarily against you, but it's that you're part of the seed of the wicked. You're a heathen nation, man. So just like all the other heathen nations that came into power, the Babylonians, Lord took them down. The writing was on the wall. He told them you got a certain amount of time to rule. They don't want to take you down. Then the Persians came in. Then the Persians ruled for a certain amount of time. They got taken. Greeks came in. They got taken. Romans. No different, man.
And you should be thanking us, man. If you weren't for our iniquity, man, you'd never have a position. You never have no time to rule. It is what it is, man.
I shall see him now. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession, for his enemies.
Slaves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Israel shall be valiant.
Israel shall be valiant. The reason that goes to the put us back on top, man. You're gonna win the war. Might have lost a few battles along the way, but ultimately we're gonna win the war, man.
Yahushua already won the victory. We got the victory for us, man. No, we're just passengers in this thing.
It says that in Revelation, them that got victory over the image of the beast and his mark. So we're gonna get the victory in the end, man. The elect are, Lord willing, we part of that whole elect. But we're gonna make it anyway, man, because we're Israelites, man. And that's the opposite to what you're gonna get. You're gonna get destruction, man, and slavery for 1,000 years.
Everlasting destruction over everlasting salvation.
Yeah.
Because to say all Israel shall be saved. Right. So it's a win for all of Israel.
It's a win for all Israel.
But the elect get the greater glory, man. Just like Yahushua gets the greater glory.
They get the first bid, like with the Lord.
Biggest blessing, the biggest portion.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone that's part of the elect, like the first son, the firstborn son out of their line, basically, right? The first fruit. So, you know, the firstborn son always gets the greater blessing. That's why the elect, they're going to be put on such a high level. And King David is going to be in his seat, man. King David is going to be in his natural order because he is the king, physical king of the nation of Israel. Yahweh Shai, he's the immortal king. He's the spiritual, he's the king of he's the king of kings, man. As I said, we're going to be a nation of kings, but the Lord is the king of kings and Lord of lords. So of course he's going to be in his position. He's second in command. Yahweh Shai's kingdom has come to earth. King David is going to be the physical king of the house of David.
Because how do you run a nation full of kings? Like, exactly, because even though, you know, David might not be as highly esteemed as Yahushua, of course, but he's still going to be a ruler over those underneath him. You know what I'm saying? Above the 11 apostles, he's going to be ahead of them, you know, and those are them possibly ahead of other men, you know. So there's still order, right? He's still a king over Israel. Yahushua is the king over everything. You know what I'm saying?
He's the universe, man. He's the true master, like I said, starting out. He's the true master of the universe, man. He owns everything, stock and barrel under the heavens.
Heavenly Father's that are giving all things into his hand.
So what are you talking about? Brother told me in the car, Sakari, you know, one lawyer, Alizé, what you call him, was saying that he's going to be the chief high priest of the kingdom, and he's going to tell you how it's to wait outside the temple, man.
He said that. I remember he said,
this guy's crazy, man. This guy's bugging out, man. You got to tell the Lord what to do, man. Oh, come on, man. That's why certain guys, they ain't worth it, man. A lot of guys, they're going to be destroyed in these last days, man.
You know what? He pretty much about this guy. Don't David is stupid, isn't it? And he can't do that.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? But no, man. There's things that, hey, man, the Most High's ways are above ours, man.
Yeah, man. Definitely order. First Corinthians tells you the order. Heavenly Father, the Son of the Most High, Yahweh Shai. And then, man, so what's your problem, man?
Yeah, you know, this is 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahweh Shai, and the head of the woman is the man.
He gave the man, right? He's the king that the Lord chose, man, to be the whole nation, like King of Israel, basically, House of David. That's it, man. Like, you know, how are you going to disregard it? That just shows that more than likely you guys are the house of Saul. You're not reverencing your king, man. You ain't got you ain't got no honor for your own king. Talking shit about your own king, man, like any regular guy. That basically means you probably are part of the house of Saul, man. You know, they didn't want King David to be in his position, just like Dathan, Korah, and Abimelech didn't want Moses to be in his position, man. You're part of the opposite house, man. That's going to be destroyed.
Well, this I wouldn't want to be the person that's talking shit about men that are above their own station. I wouldn't want to be that guy, because even if you don't, like, even if you don't look at King David like that, you know, he's not. You know, you try to say we're equal to Yahweh Shai. We're not teaching that. You know what I'm saying? But where you are in the scheme of things, man, is down here somewhere, bro. You know what I mean? Usually we're talking about things that are above you, isn't it, man? You know what I'm saying? King David is above you, regardless, man. So I wouldn't be saying any bad thing about King David, period. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of where he is in the chain of things, man. He's above you. And that's all you need to be concerned about, man. Because you're taking orders from King David. You know? If he summons you, you're coming, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Because I remember say in the history, like, you got King David committed adultery, and the Lord gave him a judgment worse than death, but he didn't kill David. He didn't actually kill David. You had a king. You had a king. I believe his name was King Asa, in Book of Second Chronicles, where basically he made an allegiance with the heathen to fight against the king of the north. And the Lord smote him for making a political allegiance, but allowed David to live after committing adultery, which goes to show that not every man's mercy is the same mercy.
Hey, well, what does it say? I will have mercy upon whom I will have mercy, man. It's up to the Lord at the end of the day. We've got laws to live by as men, you know, so we, you know, as judges, we go by those laws. But the Most High is above all that. Yeah. He can have mercy on who he wants to have mercy, man. Exactly. You know, he gets the final say in things, man. You know, man can repent. We give him repentance. You know what I'm saying? We give him the opportunity to repent. So the Lord knows, like David, you know, he fucked up, innit? But, you know, that's not really him, innit? You know, he's not really on that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but the Lord loved David. So, you know, he dealt with David how he felt that he wanted to deal with David, man. You know? That's what it is, man. Who are we to say anything else? You know what I'm saying? We're just another creation, but more say, you know what I'm saying?
It says that in Romans, says who are thou that was classic.
Yeah. You know, but that's it. We can't say nothing against that. That's not our station. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about order, man. Order, honesty, integrity, you know, and honor, man. And that's what's coming back. That's how we're going to be in the kingdom, man. It's going to be about favoritism. Not the Lord has his favorites, but his order's going to be established, man.
Hey, but that's another thing I thought about just then, man. Because we also speak about careful, how you deal with brothers, man. Because you don't know who's
you don't know
what brothers, who's who. Like, cause we concentrate on King David, obviously, man. But this is another 11 apostles that are going to be rulers over the nation of Israel, right? So who are those men? How do you know when you're talking bad about, if you're talking bad about somebody, like, not that we do that, but you guys will do that. How do you know that these men ain't, what I mean? You could be putting yourself in a world of fucking pain for no reason, just can't keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's best not to be talking about other men like that, man. Because we're all in the street, man, but we don't know individual brothers who shoot. So we just got to treat each other with respect, man. Yeah. But Sakai, it's a bit different over there. It's a bit different over there,
Free Millie to just act and behave.
Well, he's the high priest, so you can't argue with him. He can argue, he can say things, but you can't say things back, unless you're a Levite.
Hey, it's cool. We won't say anything. The Most High will take out with the Most High. Scripture says surely it's a terrible thing to fall into the hand of the living power. You don't want men to start rebuking you. Cool, the Most High will do it.
Same with fire, man. You said the Lord do what you're doing, but as we know, the Lord said that these things are gonna happen. You're gonna have sports, you're gonna have guys that are gonna give you at times, last days. So it's gonna happen.
The worst thing about it, right? It's hypocrisy what you're doing anyway. Yeah. Because you're the same guy that doesn't worship Yahweh.
Okay, saying that you shouldn't worship Yahweh.
Yeah. So why are you even doing it? Why are you even comparing David and Yahweh like you even care? Like you even care, man. You don't care. You're saying that we shouldn't worship Yahweh. So what do you know?
Everything that's in the
It's hypocritical, bro. The Lord don't like hypocrites, man.
Everything that's in the scriptures that part of the doctrine. You got something you got ill against. You got something against the certain books, the book of Hebrew. You got something against the Apostle Paul. Now you got something against King David. You definitely got a problem with Yahweh Shai. So, but you say you worship the Lord. You don't really worship the Lord. It's all about you.
Yep. You understand that
That's pride, man.
Luke 22 and 27. The words of Yahweh Shai, for whether is greater he that sitteth at meat or he that serveth. It's not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth. Ye are which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom as my Father has appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So just going into the point, like the brothers have been saying, man, there's going to be a total of 12 men, including King David, man, judging the 12 tribes of Israel with Yahweh Shai over them, man. And then under them, you're going to have the remainder of the 144,000 and the elect. So ultimately, there's order, man.
It's plain math, man. It's not hard to understand. It's just certain guys, they're just straining that and that. You want to cause confusion because they're not right, man. They're not right in the spirit, man. Yeah. Teach you how to strive for envy and strife, man. It's not really about worshiping the Lord. And then on top of that, they're feigning the word of the Lord. It's really behind closed doors. They're trying to do other things, worldly things, and trying to bring that into the truth, man. You're not really about the truth, really. It's like you're just acting like you're pretending that you're down for this truth.
Like brother, it's Philippians chapter 1 and verse 16. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Verse 15, right? So some indeed preach Yahweh Shai even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. And one preach Yahweh Shai of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds.
Yeah, because you got guys that, they push the name, but they're not pushing the true doctrine of Yahweh Shai. They're pushing another message and another doctrine, false doctrine, man. Perverting the gospel, man. For whatever reason, man, either filthy lucre, or because they just got demons on them, or whatever reason it is, man. They sold out, they got the bag, The Lord said that these things were going to happen, man. He said he's going to send us out as sheep among wolves, man. Just watch for these things. Watch for these deceivers, man. Don't fall into them traps.
Yeah, that's why we marked them that cause division, man.
Yeah.
We have to keep an eye on these guys, man, because hey, let's see what happens when they run loose, man. They start concocting all kinds of doctrines, man. They start pushing them out there in the world. If no one says nothing about it, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, it must be right, then, isn't it?"
It's just gonna go into a big fucking water lump of madness, man.
Yeah.
Confusion. All of confusion. That's why the apostles, anytime anything comes out, they're the first to get on it. And that just shows you that the Lord's dealing with those men, man.
These other guys actually say nothing.
They don't say
These other guys
shit.
don't say nothing, man. At all. They don't get involved.
They don't get involved, man. You know, they make all kinds of assertions, say all kinds of things, add things, and take away from the scriptures. No one checks them on it, other than the apostle that owns the great millstone, man. That shows you that the Lord's dealing with those men. He set them up for a reason, man, to keep everything in check before the Lord Yahweh shall return. You know, to establish the elect. You got Titus 1.
Yeah.
Like the brother said, you got all kind of guys bringing out all kind of different doctrines. And now you got guys teaching that, you know, Alexander the Great was an Israelite, man. Herod was an Israelite.
So how does this fit in the policy for the left and all that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? Like, how does this all work? How does it work? You know what I'm
Exactly saying in the car. Next
Peace is Israelite kingdom.
Yeah,
or something like what?
Israel was around at the time, so they're all Israelites. Next thing to be saying Xerxes was an Israelite, man. You know, or any of them ancient kings, man. You know,
Like, if you're talking about Xerxes from the movie 300,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
you know?
they're gonna say he was an Israelite, man.
That come out of it.
Oh, come on, man. You can't just be saying it any, you can't adding and taking away in the scriptures before something, man. It's not that what you get on.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, they're not saying they're saying that, but what I'm saying is, if he was to say that, right? The scriptures are praying like he was Xerxes himself, right? He was going to destroy the truth, wouldn't he? Right?
Yeah.
And he found out that his wife was a truth. So he's like, oh right, okay, can't do that, then, isn't it? So obviously he can't use that one. I'm sorry, I'm taking it away from you.
What about even trying to use Osiris because he gave Zerubbabel, he gave Zerubbabel the opportunity to build the second temple. They might try and say Cyrus the Great was an Israelite.
Yeah,
They let him build the temple.
Well,
Why would he let him do that?
spirit upon him to
Yeah.
return, so I agree with him.
Or Balaam, or was it Balaam? He was an Israelite. Come on, man, you can't just pick and choose who was a Jacob and who wasn't.
I can see you about this Xerxes, yeah, but he like the truth.
Yeah,
Jay like truth.
yeah, good voice.
The simple knowing love.
He was avenged by his
Because he
soul.
married Esther.
Yeah.
He's an Israelite. How can he would marry Esther?
Or why would he allow him to marry Esther? Why?
Yeah, why would
you
he
know,
go to marry?
whatever angle, because you know, guys come out with many different angles for many different things. Whether they want to push, they'll find an angle for it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, this don't fit. None of this stuff fits. No, talk about all this history that's been kept from us, and well, there's plenty of history that's been kept from us. Man. I mean, it's not, ain't one of those.
That ain't it.
They ain't one of
That
them.
ain't it.
Cleopatra's and Jake. How?
How, man?
You
Come
know,
on, man.
You know, that's not what the scriptures are saying.
That's
Anyway.
right. Even in the colonial history, Edomite history, they told you that Alexander the Great was a straight up Greek, father of Philip of Macedonia and all that. He was a straight up Edomite, man. Idumeans, man. You know, they ain't no fucking Israelite, man. Where the hell did you get that from, man?
Amalek.
Yeah, the Amalekites, man. Herod the Great was. Come on, man. Where did you get that from? Because he said, I wanted to bow down and worship the Lord when he was born. He wanted to slaughter the Lord.
Lying. He was
wanted to
lying.
kill him, man.
He was doing what Edomite does. He was lying. He's trying to lay a trap. Yeah.
He didn't want to worship the Lord, man. Why did he slaughter all the infants under the age of 2 years old?
Yeah.
All the kids.
Yeah, but who actually did? Antiochus. But why did he try and come to the Lord? Because the Lord was smiting him. Right? He did all of that wickedness to the children of Israel. And then when the Lord starts, then he tried it to be like, oh no, please, but what did the Lord do? He didn't answer his prayers. Right? Scriptures talk about the prayers of the wicked, man. So what, you gonna try to say Antiochus was the Israelite?
Or the Pharaoh that accepted Joseph, but they said, you know, the whole tribe of Jacob would be Zion. You know, we're being facetious now, but you know what I'm saying. But this is what you guys do. You make all these things and it's kind of sound wacky, man. You know, but I want to grab this 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. You know, and Jake is the worst one for some of these fables, man. Because he thought they didn't teach things like that. He'd rather keep it hidden. He don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So he knocks the noses off and just say, yeah, we don't know, innit? But he won't teach it. But you actually come out with his doctrine and teach it like it was fact, like he was there. I was like,
Even if Esau was to come out and say Alexander, Esau wouldn't even come out of his mouth and say Alexander the Great was a so-called black man. He wouldn't even do that.
But that's the
just don't
thing.
even.
But that would be his excuse because he still don't want to teach that. You know what I'm saying? They will use those things as twisted, but we got to follow the scriptures, man. We got to see what fits
Sound
prophecy.
doctrine.
But they saying, oh yeah, but it's in the scripture says that because someone such a father was this and that guy, and he was a Israelite, blah 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 blah. You know, but you have to stick to scripture and the prophecies which they pertain to. You know?
It's a sound doctrine.
I mean, I need to look at what he was saying because I haven't actually checked it yet. But it's like none of that. The jigsaw don't fit. No, by doing what you're saying, you know what I mean?
Like you're trying to put a square into a circle, man.
Yeah,
It don't fit. It don't fit, man.
That is 1 But there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers,
Deceivers, man. Vain talkers, man. Yeah, man.
especially they of the circumcision.
Yeah, they guys that acting like they're Israelite teachers and they're chewing the faith, man. They're chewing this ministry, man. That's the ones you got to look for, man. That's what we're telling you. That's what the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone been telling you, man. To watch out for these leaders, man. Still pay with them, mark them in the spirit, you know, because they're teaching a false doctrine, man, a false way, and they're leading a lot of men and basically the flock astray, man. Well, basically the undesirables, you know, the Lord's got them as stumbling blocks also, you know. But they're you've got to be especially wary of them of the circumcision, guys that know that they're Israelites, but they're perverting the gospel, man. You got to watch them niggas, man.
That's not stop, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
You know what? The spiritual's gone back on full circle again because we were saying about in terms of these women. The ones you got to watch out for, the ones that will go around saying that they're Israelites.
yeah. They're involved as well. They're in that number as well. Because, you know, majority of these guys, they notice that they do different camps. They got a large following of women as well. You know, because women are easily led. That shows you that women ain't supposed to be leaders. They're supposed to be led, man. You know, because they're easily manipulated. You know, they just follow wherever the power is, basically.
Yeah. Well, you had your black woman leader for BLM.
Yeah.
And then she's left off now. Got a mansion somewhere. You know what I mean?
Free
You know what I mean?
free diet.
I want to work on something different.
Swindled all kind of millions of money working with my man, it's Soros.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's not to say it don't happen with the men, because obviously it does, isn't it? But like, you put your black queen, bro. Don't be deceived, man. There ain't no such thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't get deceived by that. They're take with the men.
His mouth must be stopped.
yeah, his mouth must be stopped. So the Most High is going to put a stop to these guys teaching these vain doctrines, man. Butchering the scriptures and adding and taking away. The Lord's going to destroy them, man. If they don't stop doing what they're doing and repent, man, get right.
Nate.
Yeah.
What's condition?
Yeah.
Get right. So,
Yeah, it was because you remember the camp session the post side, yeah, we've seen Nate, but when you look at it, he hasn't got that whole bravado.
but yeah, look, jacking him up.
You know, say my mouths must be stopped.
I ain't really seen it.
Yeah.
The apostles speak about countries a lot, but they speak about that last camp. You know, his mouth was stopped.
Mm.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? And this is what happens when divert from the truth. Yeah, trying to set your own thing, your own doctrines. You know, you don't stick to the doctrines that you was taught or sound doctrine. You know, because all those things that caused controversy back at the schools, they were sound doctrine at the end of the day. But you know, the congregation weren't ready to hear it yet. You know, but obviously it's sound doctrine because since then, man, I come to realize that Cornelius is a Gentile and things like this. You know, yeah. What did I say? Gentile. Oh, right. Plug it. Tongue. You know, so these things they've become sound doctrine. It says speak things that become sound doctrine.
That's it.
Right? But you weren't ready to hear it back then. But you're also not ready to correct yourself, you know, and repent for those things that you did back then. Yeah. You know, but you guys went and did your own things now, teaching your own versions of what but it was not the same. You know,
the Lord said he's going to begin, the judgment's going to begin in the house of Israel. So the Lord's going to start jacking up certain leaders, man. You know, we've been telling you, man, you know, it's not a joke, man. This truth, man, this is some serious business, man. You can't play with the word of the Lord, man. You will mess your ass up. And if you're one of his, he's definitely going to jack your ass up. Because, you know, there was talk about Nate, you know, having that drink, and at the end, him getting the wine back and, you know, getting the truth back in the end. So the Lord could jack his ass up, then later on, he could turn back to his ways and repent and come back. So you know that might be the process. But if not, he's going to be destroyed with the rest of these other false guys out here, man, that are leading the flock astray. Because this truth is nothing to play with, man. You know, we've been telling you, man. You know? Lord is the terrible power. He's the king of terrors, man. Lord will make your worst nightmare happen to you, man. It's not a joke.
Most High knows everything.
Yeah,
Knows how to fix it.
exactly. He picks the point. The scriptures don't call him long suffering for nothing. He doesn't just act straight away. He'll let you linger for a while. But then it says whose judgment lingereth not in 2 Peter's, man. So the Lord's always got the time when, like, all right, cool. When he gets to this stage here, just jack his ass up. That's it. Then you can't say nothing like, what did I do wrong and all that. You done all
Did it
kinds
time,
of iniquity. Yeah. You didn't repent. You did turn from your wickedness.
You weren't a one-off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The Lord is just, man. The Lord's always been just. And he never lets anyone get away with nothing. That's why he's not going to get away with anything.
Oh, something for you that. I mean, because just consider this, man. You might think, oh yeah, the Lord put us the same is crazy, right? Bear hell on us, right? But he could have destroyed us.
Yeah, it could be worse.
And you imagine, oh yeah, but maybe to die is better than to suffer. But what? When he's got plans for you, when he's got plans of greatness for you, are you still going to want to be destroyed? Like knowing that he's got plans, he's got great plans for you, man. You know what I mean? You might as well just take the suffering, man, because we rightfully deserve it.
Yeah.
You know?
And part of that destruction is the justification of us having the rulership of the world. Because whilst each time was in captivity, Lord gave all these different heathen nations a chance to rule, and they were proven not to be worthy. So at the end of it, Israel's gonna be made worthy. It's like, look, they gave all of you a chance, couldn't do it.
At the beginning of Yahushua, because Yahushua was worthy.
Yeah.
You know, and we're gonna be made worthy with him. Those that have faith in him, man. You know, because we're trying to be made clean too.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why the suffering, all the hell, so part purification. You got to be clean, like the brother said, man. You got to be cleansed, man.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 11 says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Yes, you got a lot of guys out here that are, you know, doing what they're doing, being mischievous, you know, making merchandise of the nation and all that, and thinking that they're getting away with it, getting away with murder. But the Lord's watching you, man. He's just waiting for your time, and that's it. You know, the Lord's a perfect assassin, man. Like, you know, if he wants to get something done, the perfect, you know, person to do it, man. He'll get it done.
The Lord's the ultimate watcher, man.
Yeah, the ultimate.
We're watchmen, right? But the Lord's the ultimate watcher, man.
watcher.
Sees everything that goes on.
Eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Yeah, before and after, like even during, you see, he knows what's gonna happen, man. He knows everything in his sequence, man, in the events. But when it's time for you, when your numbers call that comfy, he didn't know he was gonna drop dead that day.
Mm-hmm.
When the Lord put his number was up, the Lord called him back to the heavens, man.
The man can retain his spirit.
That's it. You're talking about he's the Holy Spirit. That's blasphemy, man. These guys, they're playing, you know, Sakari, all these different guys, they're playing with fire, man. They don't know it, but they're really playing with fire, man.
Hey, scripture says, because the video they did, that was carnal as hell. Scripture says a carnal mind is enmity with the Most High.
Yeah, all the holding straps and all that, the straps at camp.
Yeah.
GMS been hating me 10 years because I'm driving the Benz. Fucking crazy. We don't hate you, man.
Bro, you're not the only person with Benz.
Isn't it,
You know
man?
what I'm saying? Like, it's not even about that, innit? It's like, bro don't need to start on the cars that they're driving.
Yeah, man. Brother's got nice cars in the truth. Well, that don't mean we're going to be delivered. That's got nothing to do with salvation.
Yeah, like you're gonna outrun a mistake.
You can say GMS been hating since 2010 because I've got a Mercedes Benz. You know, well, come on, bro. That's
low.
That's cool. And then you got guns in the fucking video. And it shows the mindset in you guys, man.
I'm not saying it's the mindset, man.
Mindset,
You know what I
nigga,
mean,
you still got titles there.
It's not about none of those things, man. We don't hate you because you drive a nice car. Who cares about your car?
Innit?
You know what I mean? We have a problem because we have a different thing.
We're trying to ride chariots, man.
Yeah,
Fuck
man,
your
we're trying to
car.
get out of it, man.
Shit about Benz, man. We're gonna be riding no Benz in the kingdom, man. We're gonna be in chariots, man.
Bro, your car's gonna be over there, the Benz over there right now, right? You know, trouble's gonna come. You're not even gonna, like, you know, you can't even use the car, man. You just use the car. You know what I mean? You just, what's the car? Anyway,
You ain't even gonna have money to buy petrol soon, man. To fill up the tank, to drive that car.
that's it.
The way things are going nowadays, man. Talk about some damn Mercedes Benz, man.
Like, you're gonna have to eat that leather on that
Yeah,
trimming.
man. You're gonna be sleeping in your car. You ain't even gonna have a house to go back to soon, man.
Never off the seat.
Sense.
Because, that is 1 and 11. Whose mouths must be stopped who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not fulfill for new to speak.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys got the bag. Ghana.
Yeah, again, you know, it seems like we get well, yes, guys favour the motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But like they're developing a base for themselves. You know, they've got TV programs and albums and t-shirt lines and this, that, and the third. My man are trying to make all this merchandise because really the aim for them is to only make money. You know, the truth is a method of getting money. It's a hustle, isn't it? That's what it is.
Like,
You know,
yeah, maybe they started out being sincere. You know, certain guys they come in the truth, but then they got lost in the source, man.
money started coming.
The money started coming in. It happened in the
And
old school.
that's it. They always made the same point.
It happened in the old school. You had saying that they come into the truth sincere, they about the truth. But then when you start seeing other things,
It's about money.
it became they got this things just got distorted, man. You know, they lost their way. It's evident that's what's happening nowadays, man. These different camps and all that, man. Yeah, you know. But that's not the end of, you know, you're gonna lose all that money anyway.
And I made a video recently about being compromised, man, because it's 501c3. I don't know if Sakari's got one or not, but you know, we know Nate and Ice Cave and all that.
You know, is when you start having to do payment systems, things like that, you have to you basically have to do like prove who you are as a business entity. So like if they've got websites accepting money and this, that, and the other, paid subscriptions, they would have to either be set up as a company or set up as a charity. So it's very plausible that they just set up as a charity.
That's based on things. You know, but you're in a compromised position because you're able to make this money now and get funding and all this kind of stuff, right? But it compromises the teaching them because if the state's saying you can't speak about X, Y, and Z, like you can't come up against homosexuality, you can't say nothing against that, right? But that's protected by the state, so you can't even talk about certain things, you know. But if you start doing that, guess what? Your money stops.
Yeah.
So how are you going to build the schools that you need to build? How are you going to build the fucking supermarkets you need to build or whatever it is you need to build? You need these all, and therefore you're compromised. You know.
Proof of that is these major corporations. Then you might have a TV company or whatever, what have you, and they air the program that was Dodge, and then they're like, oh, not CNN. McDonald's will be like, oh, we're not going to advertise on your channel. Apple like, no, we're not going to advertise on your channel. So then all of that ad revenue gets lost, and all of a sudden, what do you call the channel now has to be like, oh yeah, we apologize for that one reporter's, views that does not reflect the views of the company, yada yada yada. But what my man did was a company. We don't hate white people.
No, that was
General Yohana, yeah. We don't hate white people. God hates white people.
That's it. But yeah, you know, the white man been killing us before that crack epidemic and all that. But just take the jab.
That's what I mean. They do a 360, man. He went from being in a court case to being very quiet, and now he's promoting. Now he's promoting Esau. You know, so the science wrong here. Science wrong here. Man, these men are compromised, man. You know, the man are gonna have a register of all the people that attend, that are part of the congregation or whatever. Also, they work for the state, essentially. They're here on behalf of the state to teach doctrines, different doctrines, because he's not support anybody. He's not support any doctrine in the world, but he will support it if there's enough people following it, you know. And all he wants is control, because if he gets to control these people that are teaching these things, guess what? When the time comes, when all hell breaks loose, Romans, 13, you know what I mean? That's when they start pushing that to obey the law. Just like the General Yohana is already doing that. You know, take the thing. So he's already getting you in the mindset. It's like when the time comes, we're just gonna do what the state tells us. You know?
So are they really true shepherds of the flock? No, man. No, it's false pastors, man. This is what the Lord was talking about. He's warning you guys, man. We're warning you.
That's why we don't set up like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We ain't got no ties to this world. We don't give a shit about this world. The Lord was coming to destroy this world today. We'll be with it, man. We don't want no parts of this world. We ain't got no charter with the government. None of that shit, man. Fuck Esau and his money, man. Take that money and shove it somewhere. It don't mean nothing anyway. It's just useless paper, man. Real money is gold and silver, man. You know, throw some bullion now. But even that,
give me shit.
Even if Esau bought a case of bullion and said, look, all this gold is for you, I'm like, take that shit, shove it somewhere, man. We don't want your gold, man. We want you to be in safe, man. We want you to be in chains. That's what we want.
There's stories about that. People going around with suitcases, you know what I mean? Flashing cash. You know, take this cash, we'll fund this and da 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 da.
No, take
What? So most people, I guess it's hard to look at, isn't it?
Yeah.
To turn away from that, it's like, right, so man's got a build it or whatever. They find it hard to turn around from, man.
That's
You know?
Jake's logo in society anyway. Get the bag and all that. Get the bag, get the bag. By any means, what? Just get the bag. Even if you have to do some sadistic, wicked acts, get the bag. Come
Well,
on,
that's what I say, man, for love of money.
Yeah.
You know?
man.
Yeah, all of that, man. That's what Jake are into. Because Esau's made them a bag, but they're poor. You know?
Verse 14 in Titus 1, not giving heed to Jewish fables that and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Unto the pure, all things are pure, but unto them,
Yeah, these guys are turned from the truth, man. Going up.
but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind is and conscience is defiled.
Yeah, their minds are seared with a hot iron, man. They're defiled, man, and they can't turn from their wicked ways because they think they're not doing anything wrong. That's where that pride seeps in, man. They're seeking the high seats of, in Israel, man. When they ain't really earned the stripes to get into them sight of men.
Yeah, they profess that they know Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, some of these guys, as I said, they're pushing the name Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, but do they truly know the Lord, man? No, man. The Lord doesn't really recognize them as true leaders, man. The Lord didn't send some of these guys, man. As it tells you in the book of Jeremiah. Man.
But in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate.
Yeah, that's why you got guys pushing guns in their videos. Because they're reprobate spirits, man.
How's that edifying?
How the fuck is that edifying?
What's that for?
What's spiritual about holding the gun, man? At
Right.
camp as well.
That's what I say. It's no different to Jake in the world that do the same thing.
That's nigga
Like, they're
shit, man.
glorifying something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, oh, you can't do nothing to me because I haven't got a strap. Why are you even pushing that vibration?
Yeah,
We're not trying to invite trouble like that.
Oh,
If trouble comes, then it's a different whole stuff. No, we're not advertising. Yeah, come, let's go then, innit?
Man,
We're not
zoom
trying to
in on the
advertise.
gun as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like,
I see through clip and everything. I'm saying.
like, why would you do that, man? What are you trying to perpetrate?
Yeah.
We always said we're not a carnal group, man. We're spiritual men, man. Obviously, you guys are. That's why you call yourself sick Ari, man. You guys are sick in the head for one, and you guys are murderers, man.
But just like the Lord, right? The Lord told us to get swords. Well, told the men to get swords. You know,
Then what did he say?
Those that live by the sword, will die
Die
by the sword. And then he told Peter to hold it back up because there's you know what I mean, there's certain. He got the sword not to be going out there and doing whatever you feel like doing with it. It's for your defense, isn't it? If you're in trouble, isn't it? But the whole problem with that whole situation at that time was the fact that the Lord had to be taken. The Lord had to be persecuted and stuff like that. So people could never prevent that. That's why he told him to hold his sword back, man, because it wasn't for that time. But we're not advertising, yeah, we've got swords and things like that. Yeah, if you Romans want to mess around, we'll be over here. You know, you come see us, we ain't afraid, you know. It ain't even about that. You know what I'm saying? Because these men were traveling. So you don't know what happened. The man got that for protection, man. But they don't not showing them at you. Yeah. Like roadman, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's not even
That's a cap in your way.
yeah.
You guys are basically gangbanging Israelites, man.
Call that
Part-time Israelites. But you're gangbangers, yeah. Full-time gangbangers,
Basically
man.
call that black man's got albums and gaps.
Trying to mix that ghetto reality, ghetto lifestyle with this truth. The Lord ain't looking for no gangsters, man. What the
Ghetto
fuck are you
gospel.
doing, man?
They're trying to push the ghetto gospel.
Ghetto
That's what-
gospel, all that shit. Well, like them, what's it called? Whack Nation.
Black Nation.
Black Nation. With the drill. They're trying to mix drill with the gospel. Talk about chefing and drilling and
That's what it's like.
Black Nation. Them niggas got off that pastor phone. The Lord's got a special death for that. That guy's a straight.
Full exploitation, man.
That guy's a straight fraudster, man.
Exploitation to the max.
Sick, sick. I ain't never heard him mention one scripture. All he talks about is dark. Trick. That's all he talks about. He don't mention no scriptures. He don't talk about the Lord, nothing, man.
Prosperity doctrine, man.
Yeah.
Don't need scriptures.
That's how the Lord's going to kill a lot of the pastors in the church, man. And we're going to be going up in them grove houses in that time when the Lord turns the fishes into hunters, man. The Lord said we're going to go into church, tear them places down, man.
That's what it is.
Hosea 5:1. Hear ye this, O priests, and hearken, ye house of Israel, and give ye ear, O house of the king. For judgment is towards you, because you have been a snare on Mizpah and a net spread upon Tabor. And revolters are profound to make slaughter, though I have been a rebuker of them all. I know Ephraim and Israel is not hid from me. For now, O Ephraim, thou committest whoredom, and Israel is defiled. They would
break it down.
can't. So basically, hey, you had it to where hey, the Lord was cursing out the priests, man, of the nation of Israel, pretty much because they were committing whoredoms at the time, man. And there's no difference to now where everyone out here, apart from the elders and apostles of GMS on down, is pretty much just teaching folly, man, teaching things they ought not for Esau's FRN so that they can get down with the devil. But what you got to realize,
sorry, we're trying to get you to come out of that.
Yeah.
Come out of it, people. We're trying to get you to leave those ways, become a new man. You know what I mean? We're not meant to be attached to the things that we've learned in this world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But guys want to bring all the world with them, man. It's like, I've got all this luggage, I'm bringing it with me, man.
It's like the closer you get to the end, the more they want to attach themselves to when they're supposed to detach.
Hey, but when they're in a position of power, they can bring in what they want to bring in. That's the problem.
They ain't got no faith then.
Yeah, these men are left these, these groups and made their own groups. Now they get to decide what goes and what don't go. You know? Like I said, Anazar's high priest, he gets to decide everything. No one can argue. Like, that's why man can go tap a Passover at a fucking club.
Yeah. And then they're making
Like,
then you're making a reality show trying to make excuses for why you did it. So really you're not really repenting for what you did.
No,
you're trying to make excuses for why you did it.
He made excuses to justify it. Come out, man.
Yeah.
You know, so it's whatever, man. The Lord knows, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and we know in the spirit. So it's whatever, man. You don't need to justify yourself. Justify yourself to us. You know what I'm saying? So
I would say the only person you're fooling yourself. You ain't fooling the Lord. You ain't fooling the friends. The only person you're fooling yourself, your congregation that are blind to follow you in the first place. But at the end, they're all gonna. The Lord's making that distinction between who's serving Him and who's not serving. Being exposed, so the Lord's gonna show who His elector is. You know, the Lord will be part of that number, and who is not His elect.
as Paul says, they will not frame their doings to turn unto their God, for the spirit of whoredoms is in the midst of them, and they have not known the Lord Yahweh Shai. But like Apostle Paul always goes into it as well. A lot of these Israelite camps don't actually know the nature of the Lord. You don't know the vengeful nature of the Lord has, and that's why you operate the way that you do. Because if you have the fear of the Lord, every step you take, even when you're outside of the camp, you be cautious as hell, just to make sure that you don't go off, man.
Bro, being in the street is like treading on thin ice. You don't want to do too much, man. You know that from when you first come in the streets, man. Like you start catching hell, you don't want to overstep the mark, man. You just play your position, man. That's what we always had the spirit of, just play your position and just do the work, man. That's all you have to do. Just do the work. Don't do too much. He didn't say to a reality show. Didn't say to all these other extracurricular activities, man, to be part of the truth. All he said was go out on the highways and hedges and preach, man.
seek glory. Is that one of them? Seek your own glory?
Yeah, vain glory.
It's good. Also said, let not your right hand know what your left hand do. I.e., when you're doing, you've got certain things that you do. Right, yeah, that's cool, but that's over there. But then that's for that part, and then then you got the things that you do, let's say in the world. But then that's for that, and you ain't supposed to be trying to.
What do they say? You don't mix family and business. It's like that. It's like that. We go to work in the world, but that's not where we teach our truth. You don't teach truth at work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might have a conversation with a certain individual you think on a certain level.
You try the spirit.
Yeah, exactly. But generally, even though we keep things separate, the world separate from the truth.
Yeah, Clark Kent in what do you call it? I mentioned it last week. In the scene was I forgot which Superman it was, where basically his earthly dad was about to get taken by the tornado, and he was like, "Look, I can come save you." I was like, "Look, man, it ain't time." Man of Steel, yeah.
And his dad was gonna get killed by the hurricane.
Exactly, yeah.
Said, no, just
it ain't time. It can't be revealed yet. Because
he also be balanced, be temperate and all things. You have to have balance. You can't be too over righteous and too overzealous and all that, because God said that will destroy you, man. That's another problem with a lot of these guys. They're being overzealous, basically, over righteous, man. Trying to profess themselves to be the top guy, and you really ain't that top guy, man. You really nothing, man.
But the thing is, like, actually, top guy. That's not how things work. You don't give yourself a crown. You know what I'm saying? Other men are meant to do that.
Yeah, the Lord's supposed to do that.
So you can't say I'm the top guy in Israel. It doesn't exist. You can't name yourself the guy.
Special list for Britain, do the top guy.
Exactly, man. And then you're trying to come against that, the order. And that just shows you're really insubordinate, man. You ain't got no honor, man. No integrity about you, man. Or you don't respect order, man.
This is the thing. I mean, like, because General Hunter, commanding.
General in Israel, but
You
he's
know what I
telling
mean?
everyone to take the jab.
He's took commander of David or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Man.
You know, so you got the high priest Levi that can tell everybody what to do.
So the Lord
That really is the house.
outside.
You can wait outside. I mean, we got elder apostle. He's like head apostle of I group kind of thing. No, but that's because other men have seen him to be in that position. It's not because he told himself I'm the top guy.
Yeah, they got that thing.
You know what I'm
When they
saying?
first came out, and it was people calling themselves elders. They didn't call themselves elders.
Yeah.
No.
Romans 12:3, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
And then he even said if he was the head of Satan's desire because Peter was like the next best prized possession if you couldn't get your house shine. You know what I mean? So people don't consider the fact that in this truth, like the higher up, the higher regard, the higher level you're held up in the higher regard, you got to deal with a lot. That's why
There are the more humble guys, but they should be. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a case where I've been in this next amount of time. I should be on this level. I should be deemed an elder. I should be deemed whatever, a bishop or whatever it is. You know what I mean? We're not giving ourselves titles like that. Other men might watch it because that's brothers been here for a while still. And other younger brothers that come in, they might call us certain things like elders and that, which I don't like. I don't like the idea of anyway. You know, me personally, I don't really like the idea of it, but I understand why they would say something like that coming in fresh. You know what I'm saying? But there's not something that, I am an elder or I am this person who must refer to me as elder. You know, that doesn't go on, man. That don't go on. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not even trying to elevate ourselves like that, man. We're just men trying to get the hell out of here. You know, we're all in the same boat. And the elder apostles say the same thing.
I would say even the Apostle Paul, because he basically, the one church that he cursed out when he wrote the letter to them, and he said, listen, you're worshiping me as if I was the one that died. Like, you know what I mean? Don't exalt me. It's like, exalt the heavenly.
I don't want no titles, man, until the Lord position.
He's literally going to do that. He's literally going to crown brother as part of the elect. He's going to do it himself, and it's going to be in order as well. Like, so, you know, we're going to start. We're not seeking no corrupt crowns, man.
Anyone that's got official power and stuff like that, you've got an office do for. You know what I mean? I mean, you've got responsibilities. It's not just about having a title. There's things you've got required to do. You know what I'm saying? So we're not here to be, I'm just an elder and whatever. No, there's a position you got to play, man. You know, it doesn't come with nothing, no strings. You know what I mean? There's things you got to perform as an elder or bishop or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So these things are not light things you just throw around. You know, just to make yourself feel good.
Yeah, that's a good point because there's certain positions, for instance, like for a bishop. Because although you want to be a bishop, you can only have one wife now.
Yeah. Your house has got to be in order.
Yeah.
You know, which that's hey, I mean, if you've got that, man, you know, that's
And there's this guy who's probably trying to get on the post of heart saying, "Oh, you've gone past a certain age, so you can't." Oh, but he didn't call himself a bishop. He's an apostle. How about that? The office of the apostle is higher than the bishop, man.
High priest.
High priest. Bishops is not a form of an elder, basically. You know, but there's different orders, man. You know, even apostles and prophets are rated highly before more than the king, man.
Yes, yeah. We haven't even got official priesthood, bro. You know what I mean? That's the active. We're just apostles and prophets, bro. You know what I'm saying? Disciples and teachers, servants, man. That's it. You know,
and the office of the Levitical priesthood done away with right now anyway. Because in the kingdom we're all gonna be priests, man. That was done away with Yahushua dying on the cross, man. He was the ultimate priest, man.
The veil got rent.
Yeah, man. He was the ultimate sacrifice, man. So we don't need to do any more sacrifices and all that. Now you even trying to push that we're gonna be doing sacrifices in the kingdom. What for, man? We ain't gonna be going off. So what are we gonna do sacrifice for?
Well, no sacrifice for sin.
Not for sin, but
we're not gonna be in sin.
We're gonna be in sin, but for the Passover, the ceremony, we've got sacrifice for that. We're gonna do that. That's part of the ceremony. But other than that, we ain't gonna be sacrificing no animals, man. For what?
Yeah.
Guys, man, you guys are crazy, man. But this is why, the Lord is making that distinction for certain guys. They're professing to be all this and that and a third, and really they're not true worshippers of Yahweh. Like the wicked scribes and Pharisees, they was all about the law. They was all about the law to the point where they disregarded the Lord, man. You know, the Lord was right before them, and they were saying, "You ain't the Lord," like,
So there was a servant of the miracle.
Yeah, because they had that high seat with the woman
Again,
under the Roman.
compromise.
Yeah, it was compromised.
Man,
Yeah.
you know, they were a part of Rome.
Really, they knew it was the law because they said if we follow this guy, let our people follow him, we're going to lose our seats. So they knew that was the law. But they just wanted to keep their goodies, their 503 charter back in the ancient world, man, with the Roman government.
Yeah, in the favoritism, you know.
Yeah.
But they think they're gonna be safe when the destruction comes, man. That's why they don't talk about no time of Jacob's trouble.
Yeah, so you think about that, you're gay.
I'll be all right, man. Hey, but hey, you got to read the King Alfred plan, man. Rex 84.
Yeah,
You leaders are the first to go, man.
We're not what Project Megiddo, man. We're not hot list from that. Project Megiddo, they're listed top, right? You know. So you know these things are gonna happen, man.
We know which that's gonna get brought back into the forefront again.
Yeah.
You know, when it gets all hairy.
Yeah, and you're seeing that algorithm coming to pass right now, man. With the unbeat, but not only that, so you've got a whole load of people that are like, oh, this Texas law, religion, this, that, and the other. Basically, you get a load of people that are now very like starting to push up against religion. Like with the unbeat, there should be no exemption, none at all. Yeah, no religious exemptions. These are religions, whatever, what have you. Right? Why? Because they're trying to put. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to get rid of this. They know there's power in that.
They want to make sure there's just a bunch of crazy beliefs. Like the law should be really following it. You know?
That's what they're trying to push right now. That's going to be the whole religion for their new world order, government, whatever they. But even so, we're talking about the restrictions and that because, even with you know, the famine of the word, learning the famine of the word, because when you try and use certain Wi-Fi's and like a coffee shop, Starbucks, or but if you try and watch the Hebrew Israelite videos, it's restricted. You can't watch them. It's like it's put in restriction mode. Man. Notice that. I try to watch certain videos of certain, you know, Starbucks or what's the other one, Costa and all that shit, and the shit's restricted. Can't watch. Trying to shut down word, man. They restrict shit more and more, especially if you're calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite. 9/11, look at that, man.
Yeah, 9/11. You didn't realize that. Oh, yeah, it's real, you know.
That was a hot day, you know, a few years back. You know, that was a very hot day. But the time that's coming upon the earth is going to be worse than 9/11, man. You know, it's going to be so much chaos on the earth. Daniel the 12th chapter told you, man. It's going to be fucking, you know,
unheard of.
Yeah, unheard of, man. Biblical proportions of hell, man. Earth, man. It needs to happen. It needs to happen.
Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that you should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. For there are certain men crept in unawares who were before of old.
So it was told us these things would happen.
Yeah.
But we see us seeing it is not the issue because there's prophecy, you know. But with that comes our duty.
Yeah,
we have
acknowledge it and defend the gospel.
You know,
that's why I said contend. We got to fight for the gospel, not fight amongst each other, but we got to fight for this truth, defend the truth against these infidels, man. You know, the unbelievers, man, coming against the truth. That's what the Lord said. We got to contend for the faith and defend it against these guys that are butchering scriptures, man. Lying.
Yeah, for the elect, sake.
Yeah.
You know, and we know the elect can't be deceived, isn't it? But the job of the elect is to deceive. So therefore, that's what we do. You know, because we can sit at home and do nothing, and the elect still get sealed.
Yeah,
you can deceive. You can deceive whoever you want to deceive. It won't affect the elect. But we still have a job that the Lord gave us to do. So this is what we're concerned about, fearing the Lord. Because if we don't do those things, well, guess what? We got to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying?
Into Matthew the 10th chapter, the Lord commanded the apostles back then to go out and teach. Hey, what did Yahushua say to King David, which was there at the time as Peter? Right, he says, "If you love me, feed my sheep." Huh? Yeah. All right, so hey, this is a scriptural call it that. It says, "I will not forget your work and patience and labor of love." It's the labor of love, man. You know.
Who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into our Lord Yahweh into lasciviousness, and denying the only Lord power and our Lord Yahweh Mashiach.
So some people want to deny the name, deny the Lord's important. Yahweh is important. You know, downplaying, just like they're downplaying David. They're downplaying everything, man, except for themselves. They don't downplay themselves. You know, they exalt themselves. But it's all part of disrespecting God. So how's the Lord going to be? Going to look upon you favorably if you're being disrespectful to him, his doctrine, his order, his ways, essentially. So you're being disrespectful to his ways. Like, so how does that work for you? You know? Like, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 13. The evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Right? So they're meant to be out doing their job, you know, which ends in their destruction, but they're doing the job that the Most High sent them to do. Play that counter, you know, that counter role. You know, but it's noticeable that as time goes on, they get more and more wacky doctrines.
Yeah.
Like you kind of heard them all.
Yeah.
And then a new one comes along now. It's like, oh, we discovered something else. You know, we got a revelation in this. It's not this no more. It's that. And then it's just getting weird. You know what I'm saying?
No, is that not where it says how be it when we all come together, everyone has to answer it? Because it's somewhere else.
But every one of you have a
Yeah,
sword.
But yeah, these men are waxing worse and worse. Yeah. You know, even these guys that claim to be in the truth, they're doing
They're the worst one.
yeah, they're just doing too much, man. You know, so they're actually falling further away from the truth than they are getting closer to it. Which you're meant to be increasing. You know, you're meant to be getting better or strengthening the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But you're getting further and further away from it.
Yeah. We're not hating on you guys. We don't hate you guys.
You don't care enough
We
about
don't
you
care
to,
about you. We don't know you personally.
you know what I'm saying?
We
I
don't
don't
hate you.
know.
All we're doing is acknowledging the truth, man. Like, that's all we're doing. We wouldn't be elect. You're just examples used in that being that way to show how not to be. That's why you're doing what you're doing. The Lord using the stumbling block for how not to be in His truth, man, and to basically keep the 2/3 out of this circle, man, of the elect.
Because I'm gonna say this as well, because like I said, like we don't know you from Adam. You know, you're just another Israelite. You know, we're just doing our job. You know, and then if the words that we speak convert a man into the truth, then great. You know, so be it. You know, if others are, because any of these guys repented and bro, you know, the brothers, isn't it? You know what I mean? We don't hate you. You know what I mean? We don't know you well enough to feel any particular way. We're just doing the job, man. At the end of the day, and that's what we're commanded to do. We're not here to have an Israelite get together. But if you're of the elect, hey, we're all brethren in this thing, man. But we just can't have guys like that teaching these false doctrines, having the free reign of the shit. Because that means we're not doing our job. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if we're not doing our job, guess what? The Lord gets pissed and angry. You know? When he told us the servant he gave 1 talent to, like, why didn't you go out? Why didn't you get increase? Everyone else did, but you didn't. The Lord was pissed with him. Yeah, disobeyed the order, man. You know?
Jonah tried to run away from the Lord.
Tried to run away from the Lord.
That's what we're doing, because we fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and that's what a lot of these guys don't realize. You have to fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai first. Taking in the wisdom and knowledge, man. Process of time, start developing, you're supposed to grow in the faith, man. Grow in wisdom and understanding. Let it puff you up to the point of where you're going to start discrediting your teachers, shit, against the doctrine that you've been taught. You've learned for how many years, but now all of a sudden you've got a problem with it. Doesn't make no sense, and that shows that you're disgruntled, man. Spirit.
Anyway, it's one thing to not believe and teach a different doctrine, and then to be disrespectful with it after learning from those men. But where your foundation is based, you still use it. Yeah, told Tristyles and all this, they'll just speak about those things like, well, where'd you get that from? The Hebrew, you know what I mean? Where did you get it from? But you're gonna shit on the guys that taught you these things, like literally. Right? But let me continue reading this. Right, this is, I'm reading 13 again. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned. Yep. Right. So obviously the elders and apostles are the ones that taught us. Right, because you believe that they were meant for God. So you put that in, right? But then at some part of the way, you lost faith somewhere. So Satan's really attacked you. Yeah. This is what's happened. Satan has already attacked you, and you're starting to disbelieve your teachers, and you feel like, well, I know something different. I know something that no, it's the real truth. Yeah, I know more. I know better. So then you split off, create your own thing, and you're unrestrained to conceive anything, any idea you come up with, and you can enforce it because ain't no one there to keep you in check.
Yeah.
You know, you've got no teachers, no elders above you no more.
No order, no rebuke, and no reproof.
So you start going further away from
Yeah,
the
you
truth.
start going further away, man. Straight from the, you start going pushing further away from the truth. You're supposed to be drawing more and more nearer to it.
Because if you're gonna leave, man, you might as well leave the whole thing and make it a whole complete thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna say, well, I'm gonna keep this and keep that.
Man.
You know,
The Lord will start taking it away from you anyway.
that's right. So they continue down the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of, knowing whom thou hast learned them.
So no matter what, we ain't gonna start discrediting and talking shit about our teachers. That's what is order. Even the apostles, they don't talk shit about the apostles, the elders that taught them. They don't talk shit about it.
We have to say,
So
well,
what?
with it, man. Hey, man, what's the bit? But hey, we're just pawns in the game. And if the most I don't want to keep you to the end, then that's just what it is, man. We pray to have Hashem Yahshua. That's not the case, man. But that we ought to be elect. You know what I mean? So we pray that we don't end up, coming against our elders and all that kind of stuff, man. Because hey, we gotta watch our own self.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I single.
Examine thyself.
Yeah, examine myself.
Second Peter 2:1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you.
Yeah. So the same thing that was happening back then in Yahweh Shai's time. Same thing that was happening back then in Yahweh Shai's time is happening now. There's false prophets back then. There's false prophets now. Even more so, even now, man.
Who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bringing upon themselves swift destruction.
Yeah, denying the Lord that brought them. The Lord's the one that woke up to the truth. Now you're coming against the truth. Was woken up to by the Lord, man. Then you're coming against the elders that you set up. You're gonna bring upon yourself swift destruction. Man. That's just like a disgruntled child, like a disobedient child birthed into the world, but he's so disobedient and wicked. You're gonna have to put that little nigga to death, man. Like, if he's not changing his ways. And that's in the scriptures. That's scriptural, man. If you had a son or a daughter that was so wicked, they didn't want to do what they was doing, it was a gluttonous, and just, eating and sitting in the yard all day, they didn't want to work and labor, do anything. You have the right to bring that child before the congregation, stone his ass to death. Right? That's what's happening to these guys. They're all children of the Most High, sons of the Most High, especially in this truth. But you got your disobedient sons. The Lord's chastising his righteous sons as part of the purifying his elect. But you also got the disobedient ones that don't want to do what the Lord told them. The Lord's going to put their asses to death.
Romans the 16th chapter and verse 18 to the point, for they are that are such serve not our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
Yeah, and that's why you got a lot of these guys, you've got major followings. Because Jake, he's dead. The heart of the people, yeah. It's a simple word, man. So, that's why Jake's always gone off throughout history. He's dead. He's manipulating, man. He's following the way of these false leaders, man, and false idols, instead of, checking themselves properly, not falling into them snares, man. It's even more so in this truth. You've got guys using this truth as a clutch, catch men, get rich.
It says Matthew 7 and 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat.
Yeah, and that broad gate is all these different churches, even within Israel, man. Guys teaching the whole truth, teaching that the MOTB is not the chip and all that. That's following that broad gate, because you got guys in Israel telling you to go and take the jab. That's going in that other direction, man. Of course, they come down the straight gate, the position of difficulty, that knowing that if you don't take the jab, you're going to lose your job. Well, that's faith. I got to do it then, isn't it? That's part of the protocol, man. Part fiery shark catching hell.
Still out, bro. And
Yeah,
if I can say, and that's why Scripture says, watch and pray, because someone that is watching says, okay, cool, but if I take it a month or 2 months down the line, I'm going to lose my job anyway. Why? Because we can see that the economy and this way of life is ended, done, it's finished.
When we're still in any part of living, having to take a damn vaccine every 6 months around the society. That's not living. That's fake, man.
Yeah.
That's oppression, man. You got even certain Edomites coming out saying, bro, they're telling me I'm going to lose my job. And they're saying, I'm not taking the vaccine, man. Saying you've got 2 months that left, like, you got to take the vaccine, you're going to lose the job. And he's like, I'm not taking no fucking vaccine, man. That's Edomites saying that as well. But Jake, they're just, they're on it. They're lining up for that shit just to go to a damn festival to see Drake, man.
True.
That's how fucking deceived Jake is, man.
Well, that's how much you want to hold on to the world.
Yeah.
So those things are not important to us, man. They can do whatever the hell they want to do, man. Yeah. I'm not going to argue against it. You know what I mean? They can do it. I'm not going to play a part, but they can do it.
Isn't it, man? That's the devices of the devil, man. That's why this told you, man. Second preference is see his devices, man. Can't be ignorant. This is definitely not the time to be ignorant, man. This is definitely the time to be more observant, more circumspect, man. Be watching and praying like the brother just said, man. Because things are changing, man, drastically. It's going to get worse as well. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get drastically worse and worse, and then ultimately the destruction before everything gets filled. Start over again. Dude.
It's from Romans 12, verse 1. So I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice. People aren't even prepared to do that. They're too worried about what's going to happen to them. Oh, what's going to happen with my job? What's going to happen with my life? My conditions, They're too worried about those things. They're not prepared to be that sacrifice the Lord may require you to be. You know what I mean? The Lord will sacrifice himself, though. Yeah. All you Christians out there, you know what I mean? Talk about it, but you don't mean to, they talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. Right? These things are required of us too. To bear our cross, right? It's wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, right? So being conformed to this world is, going along with it. You know what I'm saying? He's still trying to,
straight cut to your honor.
Things that are going against, the better judgment, so to speak, according to scriptures, you're not meant to be conforming to.
Yeah.
Like, the devil's in rulership. He's trying to deceive the earth, and yet you're going to go along with the plan. You know what I mean?
Not to conform. If the Lord said to conform to the world, he would have said it.
Yeah.
He said, be not conformed, man. Don't go against the grain. Don't go with the grain.
But you're worried about losing your job.
Yeah. You're conforming then.
Losing your benefits, losing whatever it is. You're worried about those things. You don't have faith. You don't believe.
True,
but those that don't believe conform, and they conform to things, man. That the scriptures speak about not doing. But what about the MOTB? How many people are focused on that right now? How many people that can't see that this is where it's leading to?
Man.
But like we say, those that are really taking the V are going to be taking this MOTB, man, because for the exact same reasons, losing things, they're going to want to keep. They're going to take it.
Because if I can see in the back of their mind, they're just thinking, oh, but it's just a trap. And that's what it was.
Or this ain't it. This ain't. But they're trying to convince themselves. You know what I'm saying? That this ain't it. This ain't the MOTB. Or the Lord's not going to come yet anyway. All this kind of stuff. I'm going to die before the Lord comes. They think they're going to get around it some way. It's not going to apply to them.
They don't have the fear of the Most High, which is ultimately what it comes down. Because someone can say it's just okay, cool. But Lord said not to trust this devil, so as for me and my house, we can't follow what the Lord said.
And this is the problem when you don't watch prophecies as well, man.
That's it.
Because you put all this stuff together, man, the picture's quite obvious.
What's happening?
But because people put the day of the Lord off, oh yeah, but there's always wars going on. Oh yeah, but there's always been this happening, and the earthquakes and da. So they just keep putting it far off because to them everything's the same. Like the scriptures say, all things continue as the same. This is how they feel. So they think there's some way to get around it. They can conform still and still get away with it somehow. But this is not what's going to happen to these people, man. We're in the end times right now. We're in the end times. So then when it goes along, conforms to the devil's society, right? He's in WO, right? You're going to be destroyed, you know, and put in chain, or whatever the case
Even
may
if
be.
you take the MOTB, you're not gonna live a great life after that anyway. You're gonna be catching hell still. You know,
Well,
you can see the results of people taking a jab. They're catching the kind of hell, losing bones and losing legs and all that. You know, what kind of side effects that they're suffering from? And they took the jab though. I thought everything was supposed to be good after that.
Biden's trying to convince you it's all good though. You know, he's gonna force it on you whether you like it or not.
Especially when you see the CB coming right afterwards. If that's controllable money, man. So okay, cool. You take the MOTB. All right, you've taken that now. But now he said, oh, actually, you can't buy any alcohol with the money that you have because you're a low citizen or you have a history of alcoholism. So we're not going to allow you to buy any alcohol with your money.
The fact that they're even getting on the CBDC thing, right, means that they're preparing for the crash. You know, because look how things are right now. Everything's kind of effed up, right? Economy's all kind of mashed up. So these CBDCs are going to replace what this world's going to leave, the mess. It's going to replace it, you know? So they're preparing for that crash.
They say in September, October, that's usually when they have the Black Monday crashes. That's it, between September. That's when the financial crashes usually happen. So, you know, anytime from now, anything can happen with this banking system. It's already fucked up, as the brother said anyway. It's waiting to be rebooted, right, with this new world order shit.
Yeah. Verse 2 again said, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, because these scriptures are meant to renew your mind. Okay, these are the things you think about. These are the things you focus on. You don't think about your own life like that. Oh, I'm trying to make the best of my life like other guys. You know, that's, you know, yeah, it might know about best you, but you're not focused on making our life infinitely great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Trying to do everything you can.
You're not supposed to hold on, you're supposed to let go.
Yeah, you know, putting all the time and energy to make yourself great. You're not interested in that. You know, don't mean you can't apply for a job and all this kind of stuff. But you know what I mean? There's levels, man. The law ain't gonna put you on a super level. You know what I mean? So if that's what you want, well, you have to wait for that. You have to be patient for that. But all guys are not patient though. You know? They conform and they go along that route. The destruction, perdition track, right? By the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable, perfect will of the Most High. What's the will of the Most High? To destroy this place. That's the will of the Most High. He wants not to preserve it. He's going to preserve his elect, but he's going to destroy this place.
We don't know anything but anything else but that. We know that the Lord is definitely going to destroy this place. Who else knows? Yeah, who else knows? We know that the Lord is definitely getting ready to judge this whole thing.
He ain't happy with this place. That's for damn sure.
We'll hold on to that. If anything, we'll hold on to that alone, brother. Still keep the faith, keep going, man. Yeah. Being in the spirit of doubt, these guys out here, that's what they suffer from, the spirit of doubt, as well as other things. Fear the Lord. They don't fear the Lord. They suffer from doubt, and they lack faith, basically. We ain't saying you gotta have the greatest faith in the world, but the Lord said even the faith as small as a mustard seed, man, can help you, man, in a great way, man. In the end, you know, you gotta believe this thing, man. You gotta know what you're involved in. Apostles and elders always doing videos like that. Know what you're involved in, man. A lot of these guys don't know what they're involved in. Man. They think everything's just gonna be sweet. They came into this thing, shit started sweet for them. They get making money. When you come to this truth, you should know that you're gonna be put on the lower level. You're gonna be catching them timely hell.
Well, that's not one of the first things I need.
That's the first thing you're gonna.
You know what I mean? That's all about counting that cost.
Yeah.
You know, from the time I got in this truth, it was like, the word is sweet in the mouth, but bitter in the belly. You know you're gonna come against adversity and prepare yourself for temptation. You come to serve God, prepare yourself for temptation, man. Like who's never gonna, that plan you had in your mind in the world doesn't exist no more. That career you wanted don't exist no more, man. You know, you've given yourself unto the Lord, man. And that's a hard, path to follow.
This is what we care about. And just like you speaking about certain people want them high up positions. Look, man, even in this world, if you've got certain high up positions, hey, you got to work, man.
When something is required of you by management, you've got to be there to do it. When you're a junior, you've got a lot more freedom to just kind of like, you know, yeah, you know, not like be lazy, but like it ain't in your face like that. Like you put
That pressure.
yeah, you ain't under that pressure, man.
Well, like I say, the higher that you go up, the more weight your decisions carry as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why, like, even in war, like as a head of a certain legion, a lieutenant, you got yeah, you know,
Yeah.
as a head in your own respect, the decisions that you make carry weight, man. So even like, for example, when King David went to war, he'd have to make wise decisions. Even when he made the decision of numbering Israel, he saw what the Lord was doing. He said, "Lord, come at me," because ultimately he knew as a king, people are going to be looking at him like, "Yo, like you're the reason why this is that." You know what I'm saying?
But that's why having these like when you're trying to bring things in the world into your thing, it's like you're trying to compensate the fact you can't do that for us. You can't go get that. But when these other camps open these different avenues, oh yeah, you can be a rap star though, innit? Do all the videos, get the thing, get the Mercedes and get the gas, do all that shit, right? Because you can do all that. It's like they're not. You got a secret agenda, brother. At the end of the day, you want to be that guy in the truth.
Yeah.
Because you can't be that guy in the world, so you want to be this guy in the truth, man. But them two don't go together.
It says bring forth fruit meat for repentance.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about what you said earlier on, but in regards to when they were zooming in on the guy and his gun, you would like you said you just had the man that was like, I still want to trap though, but you know, I believe in this God thing, innit? Like that's you know they're trying to
You can hold one, yeah, fine. What's the need to show it off?
Camera, man.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? You know that the government's watching every move that we make. They're writing fucking backlogs of data on brothers and information on brothers. You dare floating guns and shit. Like to say, and they don't put it all in one bucket, man. They're gonna say, oh, they all carry guns now. Yeah. We're gonna go get the military in these days when that time comes.
Oh, especially when there's been incidences already.
Yeah, man.
You know,
come on, man. You guys are moving stupid, man.
Exactly.
You said be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The hell do you need to carry a gun for, man?
You're that scared. You know, you're that afraid.
Fucking babies, man.
Like I say you can hold one. There's nothing wrong with that, innit? But at the end of the day, you know, in your state, you know, depending on your state,
certain states in America that you're legally allowed to carry guns. But don't mean you got to walk around floating the shit.
Like we can't.
Yeah, we can't.
We can't. We don't vote. So we didn't think about it.
We can't even carry a knife, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Or a pen knife to get arrested, man. You can't carry nothing, man.
So they're not even in our force. You know what I mean? We just come out here and let the Lord do his thing, man. Because ultimately, the Lord is going to deliver you anyway. Guys, you have some people don't.
Which says thou art my battle axe, the weapon of war. Jeremiah 51 and 20.
We've all the natural weapons. Don't need no weapons. No weapons ourselves.
Yeah.
The Lord's going to turn us into weapons, man. It says that in the scriptures. That's what true power comes from. We don't need no guns, man.
Don't get simple as well. You know, score with that. It don't mean we're not going to be harmed and things like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you guys said that. You know, no, bro, it doesn't even work like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean the Lord won't persecute you in some form or fashion, bro. But only what we're saying is that we ain't got worried. When we got the Most High on our side, we ain't got worried about nothing. Because the Most High is the one that allows you to support you anyway, right? So if he wants to deliver you or hand you over, that's up to God. You can't do nothing about that.
Disciples had spiritual power, but he still got hemmed up. Our Shai had spiritual power, he got hemmed up. So it don't mean that we're not going to get jacked up in certain states. We might get, in prisons and that. But the Lord can deliver you out of any circumstance. That's where the faith comes in. That's where you have to trust in the Lord. That's what he was saying. Put your burdens upon me, man. Pray to him. Make supplications to the Lord. Don't trust in your own might, might and strength. That's not going to deliver you, man.
Second Ezra 16:75. Be ye not afraid.
Be ye not afraid. Don't be shook, man. Ride out for the Lord, man. Like he's gonna ride out, like he did ride out for us 2,000 years ago, man. Yeah. We'll have that same mentality, man. The Lord did what he had to do.
It says, neither doubt. The Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves.
Yes, no matter what hurdles you're going through in life, the Lord's going to find a way to deliver you, and that's why he's there, man. Ultimate protector, man. He always has been, always will be. He's definitely going to protect the elect these last days. Through thick and thin, man. He's going to deliver them. And he's going to show that throughout these miracles in the earth, and everyone's going to see it as well. And know about it, man.
Because at the end of the day, man, what best way to magnify your power by delivering the pros,
Demonstrating it,
you know? So we got to be in, those comfortable situations where we think crap,
Backs against the wall
Yeah.
and all that. I'm dead now.
and that's the best
And the
moment for the
Lord
Lord
has
to
come
do
through.
things.
Yeah.
And then you praise the Lord even harder, bro. You know what I mean? Because he delivered you out of a situation you couldn't live yourself out of.
That's the title. I'm gonna use that. Let the Lord do his thing, man. The birds chirping, man. Let the Lord do his thing, man. That's all you got to do, man. Have faith. Let the Lord do his thing, man. He'll show you the power.
You got a gun in your pocket, you got a bit of confidence. You think it's about a situation, it's just like that, innit? But you ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of the disciples, innit? They had to be delivered some other ways, man. Angels broke Peter out of prison. Things like that.
It's gonna happen.
Because they prophesied that someone's going to get wrapped up. You can't avoid that. No matter if you've got guns in your pocket or not. You know what I'm saying? So,
Because he's got more guns.
more guns, more bands.
Conversations and the gang.
He's got power weapons.
Anyway, man, we're going to close out with that. Those will be back next week. Give all praises and glory to
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahweh,
Shai,
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahweh,
Dash. Double honest, the apostles, elders, the great millstones. Blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom, shalom, shalom.